Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Smyth Radio. Your host, Brian Smith, and
Carrie Smith.
doing a special show today with the State of the Union address for Donald J. Trump, giving his first State of the Union address, the things that we're going to expect to see, and we will broadcast it live right here on Smyth Radio, here on Periscope, and you can hang out with us and enjoy the show.
Just moments from now, I guess it'll be happening. I'm excited about it.
So get your adult beverages and your popcorn ready.
Oh, I like the sound that you're. You hear that? Love it. Oh, what are you doing? Oh my goodness! Somebody was gonna join us with a box of wine.
Somebody said they ordered up a box of wine. I don't know how you do that, but you could do it, whatever the case may be.
Bring it by the pallet load.
Right, so Donald Trump is going to go live here in about 30, well, it's supposed to start in about 32 minutes. At the top of the hour, 9 o'clock. However, if you all know, State of the Union address, there's about a half hour of handshaking, glad handing.
At least. They just showed a scene of his limo parked right up next to the door at the White House. So he's probably, as we speak right now, entering into his limo to do the motorcade to the Capitol building, in which he will get out and do the excruciatingly slow walk down the aisle, shaking everybody's hand. Everybody's hand. So we're going to do a little different format here, which is going to be kind of interesting. We decided there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be doing State of the Union live broadcast and all that kind of stuff. So we decided let's do something a little different. And we are going to basically be available for commentary during. Now, some people are like, hey, we're not here to listen. You guys are really here to listen to Trump. And that's fine. We are not going to interrupt President Trump.
No, never.
We will just – you got to understand how these State of the Unions go. For those of you that are new, let me explain how this goes. The president says a line or maybe two in his speech, and then it proceeds with about 10 minutes of clapping. And so maybe not 10 minutes, but
it can last for a long time.
It'll feel like it. It'll feel like 10 minutes of clapping. And, at that point, it would be a good opportunity for us to butt our noses in and make comments if necessary. I'm not just going to be gratuitously saying whatever, but it should be a lot of fun. So what do you think that they are going to be talking about tonight, what Donald Trump is going to be talking about with this State of the Union? It's tradition to kind of come out and say the State of the Union is strong no matter what. There could be leveled metropolises. Right. I'm talking this could be days after a nuclear holocaust. And the president would go out there and say, the State of the Union is strong. And then everybody jumps up and claps and everything. Right. It doesn't matter. Like, it was silly when, like, Barack Obama would say it or something like that, when we were in shambles and things were, everything was crumbling and everybody was unemployed. And
right.
So, so that's definitely going to happen. But you know what? Donald Trump is a different person. He's not your establishment type of – he's not a politician. He's just an average guy, and be expecting something different. What do you think? Some of the things I was reading about, not only that, but if you ever sign up for Donald Trump's through his campaign, through his website, you can get the text messages from him directly. Well, somebody's manning the text message board, and you'll get messages from him throughout. You mean that wasn't him giving me? I thought he was emailing me personally. I didn't know this was a mass email. It says right on there, Carrie Smith.
I said Donald Trump. Anyway, so I got a couple of those, and a lot of the messages that I've received from the Trump campaign, if you will, the Trump people, is that, make America safe, make America strong. Donald Trump saying, I am still and currently your voice. I'm the voice for the people. And if you really think about it, wow, folks, everything that's been going on with all these criminals and think back throughout your entire life. What politician have you ever trusted? And when they lie to us, we're like, that's what politicians do, damn it. And I've never called Trump a politician. However, he's referred to himself recently as a politician. So I guess if he refers to himself as a politician, I guess it's a politician. But here's the thing, folks. When have we ever seen a politician ever keep his word on just about anything? And you've got everybody in the FBI, well, not everybody, the higher ups in the FBI. You got McCabe, who absolutely Russian collusion. McCabe walked out in a, what do they call it? The walk of shame. McCabe, literally, the walk of shame out of the FBI. James Comey tweeting out late last night, McCabe, yeah, he was there for 20 years. What an upstanding, strong man, standing against all odds. McCabe, love you, buddy. Yeah, that was a cry for help, James Comey. McCabe apparently saying, if I don't get my full benefits, my full retirement, I'm gonna torch the FBI, which means to bring down all the other underlying swamp dwellers.
I mean, it's almost like an admission saying that, isn't
it? Absolutely.
It's like if you were questioning whether or not there was any kind of wrongdoing on his part, or maybe he's innocent, whatever, I don't know. But the problem is the FBI as a whole, right? And so for him to say, I'm bringing everybody down with me, kind of like makes it seem like maybe there was something going on there. So, wow. Do you think he's going to say anything about any of this debacle at the State of the Union? It seems like no way, but
you never know. Trump, it might be sleight of hand, if you will. Maybe a reference to draining the swamp, a reference to cleaning house, a reference to
half the swamp is going to be in attendance.
Well, Ruth Bader Ginsburg won't.
Well,
we're still told that she's not going to attend because she's already drunk and pretty much
she just wants to watch the Smyth radio broadcast.
She's 2 sheets to the wind as we speak right now. God bless you, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Pour some out for her homies.
She's not dead yet.
Oh. I mean,
pour some out for our dead homies.
But it's hard to tell though when you look at her.
I mean, she didn't get the nickname Skeletor for nothing.
I thought there was a Tales from the Crypt reference for her or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So you've got all this stuff coming down. Obviously, we found out yesterday that the memo is going to be released. Devin Nunes, not Dennis.
Dennis. Was she thinking of Dennis
Kucinich?
Or maybe Alex Jones thought that she said Dennis Miller,
which was clearly not said.
Maybe it was trying to be funny, but it just sounds like fake news when you're inaccurate like that. I'm not trying to blast on Alex. Whatever. But
folks, if you've been listening to the Horn or you saw that CNN interview with Nancy Pelosi, absolutely being destroyed by
Chris Cuomo.
Cuomo did an accidental drive-by.
He wasn't even trying. He just kind of threw something out there. I guess it was a random act of journalism, and she had a literal stroke. I think if you listen to the words that she was attempting to say, the sentence structure and the misstatements. I mean, you don't happen to have that clip, do you? Because if you don't. Oh, my gosh.
The clip of Cuomo, yeah. We'll talk about this. Set it up for us.
Well, I mean, basically, what I saw of it, look, I don't watch Chris Cuomo because it's complete fake news. He is literally a propagandist. I mean, there's no other way to put it. The most accurate way to describe what he does is he's just a professional propagandist, and he does a very good job. I'll tell you what, he's talented. He does a very good job of pushing the Democrat narrative effectively, and he makes it sound like real journalism. It makes it sound like he's just giving you the news. These are the facts of the day, but it is total BS, total propaganda. He just does a really good job of pushing that. And so apparently when you have somebody like Nancy Pelosi on the other side of the desk of a Chris Cuomo, she probably thinks this is going to be softball interview time, right? That they're gonna collude together in order to further the narrative of fake news, and it just doesn't work out for her, and her reaction is kind of priceless.
Okay, it was so bad. It was so bad that Mark Dice actually did a video on just this. That's
gosh.
how bad it was.
gosh.
I mean, Nancy Pelosi is truly ready for the nursing home. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that to be reals, y'all. I'm for real. So here's Mark Dice video, Mark Dice clip on Nancy. I've lost my ever-loving mind, Pelosi.
The moment, CNN's Chris Cuomo made a huge mistake live on the air last night while he was interviewing Nancy Pelosi about the pending release of this GOP memo that will detail serious corruption within the FBI and may help put an end to this Russia conspiracy theory witch hunt. He must have experienced a blackout and forgot that he works for CNN because in this brief moment, he was actually acting like a real journalist.
And I can understand why they want it all released. Congresswoman, I can understand why they want it all out, because they say, you know what, we can't trust you guys. Let us read it. Let us figure it out. You can redact the names. You can make it safe enough for us to look at it, because they say the same thing about you. No. That the Russia investigation, there's no collusion.
Did you hear
that? You guys
that?
are pushing the ball to political advantage to stymie the president, and they talk about this memo like it should have been in the Raiders of the Lost Ark, this thing, that
Yes!
this is the holy grail of the truth.
She can't even look him in the eye. She's literally just staring off into space.
This is the holy grail of the truth about what was happening during the campaign, and it points the finger at the Democrats and the FBI.
Well, let me just say this. We're not going to become them, the Republicans, because they are totally irresponsible.
So thank you, Nancy Pelosi, for telling us that you will always be crooked, wrong, and just...
Well, she's calling us irresponsible because it's true. We're not very responsible with the communist narrative and agenda.
No, not at all.
In this regard.
Yes, the Republicans are the irresponsible ones. That's why they didn't leak this memo like the Democrats constantly leak classified material and instead went through the proper procedures to vote on declassifying.
Nancy Pelosi took classified material and read it on the House floor, which is legal.
But not very responsible.
Thank you.
It looks like this memo is going to be released by the end of this week, and there's nothing that the Democrats can do to stop it, because the House Intelligence Committee already voted to release the memo, and now it's up to President Trump to decide whether or not to release it, and it looks like he's going to. And so the Democrats now are saying that releasing the memo puts our intelligence agencies' tactics and methods at risk of being exposed to the world.
But again, let's enlarge this issue. Let me not get engaged in this Republican-Democratic thing. This is about security or not. It's about people in our country who work so hard to protect the American people in the intelligence community, and to be frivolous with their identity or roads that can lead to them.
You're saying that you think it puts lives at stake if this memo comes out?
Well, I'm saying that intelligence that is necessary for other countries to share with us, why would they put it at the mercy of Dennis Nunes, who doesn't even read the memo, and say the American people should see it? And
I'm sorry, Grandma, but the name of the House Intelligence Committee chairman is Devin Nunes, not Dennis. At another point in this interview, she's talking about the different alphabet agencies which make up the intelligence community. You know, ones like the FBI, the CIA, and one that I've never heard of before, DNA.
You've heard of that.
They say they don't want the DOJ to look at it because they are part of their concerns about how things were done during the campaign.
The DOJ is only one part of the intelligence community. The intelligence community is vast. It's the CIA, the DNA.
I'm sorry, Skeletor, but DNA is not an intelligence agency. Deoxyribonucleic acid is the basic building block of life on planet Earth, and something that kids learn about in, I think, 5th grade science.
The American people, they have their own jobs to do. They're not there saying, now I'm going to redact a memo because I know what is true, I know what is false.
No, I'm saying you guys redact what you need to redact, but then let the American people decide.
Chris, that kind of question is completely at odds with your job description at CNN. You trying to get fired, bro?
But that's not the way intelligence works. That's not the way it works.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
The Republican Party has, as I said, crossed over to cover up. They're deadly afraid of the Russia investigation. We don't want the investigation to be anything but based on the law and the facts, and let the investigation proceed.
Yes, Crypt Keeper, exposing the corruption of the investigation is reckless and wrong. Robert Mueller should just be above the law and not have to be accountable to anyone.
Let me just say this with all due respect. You really don't know what you're talking about right now.
I'm sorry, but I'm not the one who thinks that Dennis Nunes is the head of the Intelligence Committee or that DNA is an intelligence agency. Of course, Congressman Adam Scary Eyes Schiff, the ranking member on the Intelligence Committee, meaning the most senior Democrat on the committee, is upset about this release and gave a press conference denouncing it, saying it's terrible, so you know that it's the right thing to do.
A very sad day, I think, in the history of this committee. As I said to my committee colleagues during this hearing, sadly, we can fully expect that the President of the United States will not put the national interest over his own personal interest. But it is a sad day indeed when that is also true of our own committee.
This is unbelievable, folks.
I just want to point out something. Oh, do you have the C-SPAN in the background so you can see when it's coming up?
I've actually got the White House that tweeted out to me. The White House tweeted to me, hold on, folks, just a few more minutes.
Okay, awesome. So she said, you don't know what you're talking about, Chris Cuomo. And the reason she said that is because he's supposed to say, under no circumstances should this be released, no matter what. And he said, what did he say? He said, well, why don't we just redact all the stuff that's not supposed to be there or not supposed to be public, and then let the rest of it come out and let the public decide. That is absolutely unacceptable to people like Nancy Pelosi, who is probably, I don't know about Nancy, but definitely a lot of people who are friends of hers that will definitely wind up in jail over this and lose power and all kinds of problems for the 2018 election cycle. And I'm telling you right now, that's what she's talking about.
For those of you who watch it, this is the greatest meme. Somebody took Hillary Clinton's little drunken spiel that she did over the weekend, put horns and smoke to her in the background. I know we played it on the show, but I can't get enough of this stuff. These Democrats are literally burning. They're burning everything down. Everything around them is burning. They're grasping and holding on with their fingernails. And like Rush Limbaugh says all the time, we've got to destroy the Democrat Party and beat them back. All the way back to where they're almost nothing, but we've got to keep them still there. You can never get rid of the Democrat Party. Never get rid of them, but you got to crush them. But the remains of them will stay there in order to keep the information alive that this is what is wrong. This is what is evil. You've got Keith Ellison running this thing. Really? Muslim Brotherhood, anyone? And then the Washington Compost comes out with an article saying 2018 Democrats make a hard left.
What does that even mean?
Hard left? How much more hard left could they be?
They make one more left, they're going right. I'm telling you. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we explain to you on this show every week. By the way, we broadcast every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And we tell you that the Democrat Party, the progressives, they are much further left than the mainstream media will ever let you know. They are pretty much effectively communists for the most part. And we've been saying that for a long time. And so there is no more, we need to make a hard left. What does that even mean? I mean, just end all government altogether and just put a handful in charge, and they are to make everything that's not banned be mandatory. And all laws will reflect that.
Right, absolutely.
That's complete slavery at that point. So anyway.
So we've got 4,700 people watching the White House website or the White House YouTube channel. If you guys ever wanted to watch anything live that the White House is doing.
I've got 10,400 now.
Oh, I need to refresh.
Oh, yeah, you got to refresh, yeah. Which is kind of strange.
If you ever want to watch anything that Donald Trump is doing live, they broadcast live when he was in Switzerland. They broadcast live just about anything and everything. You got the White House press events, the briefings. They broadcast those live as well. This is a great source of information. The White House on YouTube.
Yeah, they have their own channel.
I'm surprised that YouTube hasn't shut this down yet.
Yeah, I mean, the kind of things that they ban and shut down channels for, and they claim that they are violating their terms of service, the White House would be under that category too. because it's politics. They bust everybody for politics. So what do we have different? What do we got?
Oh, do you want to hear Milo Yiannopoulos? You want to hear his take on what's going to go on at
I'll set it up for you. Milo has decided that it'd be interesting to brainstorm what a dream State of the Union address would sound like. And so he, by the way, he has a daily show now. Did you know that?
I did.
It just started not too long ago. It's there's a paywall. So you have to pay for a subscription in order to listen to him every day. But he's entertaining.
Yeah.
But he does these little clips, these little teasers on YouTube to let you know. It's kind of like the highlights that kind of tease you to come over and subscribe to his show. And this is one of his teasers. But this one is what he would hope a dream State of the Union address would sound like.
I'm quite looking forward to him having a go at people in there, calling out the Democrats. Ann Coulter said that he should have the Dreamers in there arrested. He should come in.
I mean, he might do it.
Come in and have. No, he won't do it. But
that'd be great.
Come in and have the Dreamers brought in by Democratic senators and whatever. Arrested and taken out. I think that he should auction off the seats normally reserved for Democrats and use the money to pay for more deportations. I think the whole room, the whole grand building should be filled with sexy ICE agents, ICE officers. It is the sexiest branch of law enforcement. I think they should fill the whole room for the State of the Union with the deportation squad. And they should come in full riot gear with ICE. Oh, it'd be fabulous.
You should put their number up on the on the broadcast.
Oh yeah. No, you know what? You know what I want Donald Trump to do? I did it at University of New Mexico, Albuquerque. We had deport your local illegal, and we had it was an 833 number, I think. Call ICE today if you suspect your local restaurant of employing illegals. I think Donald Trump should punctuate the State of the Union with ads. For the ICE deportation hotline. And he should just have 20 minutes in to talking about how black unemployment is at the lowest rates ever, about how Hispanic unemployment, lowest rates ever, the Dow's doing great, economy's doing great, everything's doing fantastic, the tax cut, amazing, $1,000 in everyone's back pocket, which the Democrats say is chump change, but most Americans don't even have $1,000 in savings. All of that, and then we interrupt this broadcast for a commercial break. Trump just say, we turn to our partners at the Trump Presidential Broadcasting Corporation.
This State of the Union is sponsored by.
This State of the Union is sponsored by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Officers of America. And then you just got these like handsome men in their black outfits with their gun. What guns does ICE have? I'm sure it's something American. And then it's just like, deport your local illegal. The president needs you.
Okay, so if we talk about what's really going on, folks, we're talking about DACA. And DACA is certainly going to be brought up. It's amazing what Trump has done. Trump, and I know some people are blasting some of the Never Trumpers, some of the conservatives, Cruise Crew.
Yeah.
You got the Ben Shapiro's, and you got
Ann Coulter.
Oh my God! Said that Donald Trump has done no better than if Jeb Bush were elected.
That just totally triggered you, huh?
Ooh,
you went nuts, but rightfully so. Rightfully so. I totally support your reaction.
So Trump said, "You want 800,000 DACA to be legal? I'll tell you what. I will give you up to 2 million that qualify. I'll give you up to 2 million that qualify." And we talked about the qualifications. The qualifications are actually very strict. And I think Trump is I know Trump is using this on purpose to shame the Democrats. They can't say, if they say no, their entire base is like, what?
I mean, if you're a dreamer,
got no more dreams,
or an ally of a dreamer, which is like, I mean, the virtue signalers are everywhere. There's millions and millions and millions, tens of millions of them that are all voting Democrat, and this has got to be a shock to them if the Democrats try to resist this. Now, I want to point out something. I had a phone conversation with a supporter and a source, if you will, that said, "Kerry, you got to be careful with your language on this because it could be a setup." I tried to explain to this source of mine that Trump Trump's very smart. He's got to be aware.
Did you talk to him last night?
I think it was last night.
Oh,
yeah.
I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah. So he said, look, there's a lot of different ways to trap and trick not only Trump, but those who would vote for this DACA legalization or whatever, amnesty, if you will. And it will be more than 1.8 million, and it will end up including people that normally wouldn't qualify for DACA, and it's just going to be a big fiasco. And I pointed out, and I told him, I said, you know what? I need to make clear to people that we do need to oppose it if we aren't 100% sure that it's going to be limited to the right people.
He said a pathway to citizenship in 12 years.
Right.
A pathway, which means you got to jump through some hoops. That's just not
right. You don't
automatic.
Just hang out for 12 years and say, whatever. Death to America. I'll vote for whoever I think is going to destroy America the quickest. And boom, 12 years is here. All right, let's pull that lever. Let's start pulling. Right. No, I mean they're going to have to do X, Y, and Z, jump through these fire hoops, but also, there's dates. If you look at the DACA qualifications, there's dates on them that you have to fall within. And once those dates are gone, you can't keep piling new numbers. If it ends up being 1.8 million, I don't see how it's possible that you could add to that unless you start fudging the dates. Like, for instance, you have to be 16 as of blah, 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 2012, whatever. Like, once those dates get to a certain point, there won't be anybody left that would qualify for DACA. Right. And so those dates are very important, and it needs to be understood that the bureaucrats that are in charge of signing off on these things are not fudging it. And so that is an issue that we need to worry about.
Also hammering down on the visas, the
visa lottery.
The visa lottery, we're just, bring the bomber, the Boston bomber, bring him and his brother in. Good deal. And the friends and the family and everybody else, they're cutting that out.
So the chain migration's out.
I'm serious. There's a lot of stuff that's being cut out. Now folks, don't think for one second that this doesn't apply to babies that are already born here on American soil. That we still got to tackle. The 14th Amendment Emancipation Proclamation, still being used to this day, was used for slavery to rip the slaves away from Democrats and to allow them to be citizens of America. That was the 14th Amendment. Democrats twist that 14th Amendment to say the lady who gave birth in the aircraft flying to America over America Air as she gave birth, that baby's now a U.S. citizen. That's nuts.
Yeah, that was definitely not intended.
That happened this past week.
They should have known that when aircraft are flying overhead back in 1860,
yes,
they should have known that this was going to be an issue. But no, anyway.
I digress.
No, obviously the 14th Amendment has been misinterpreted and
it's antiquated. We don't even need the 14th Amendment anymore.
Right. If it was to make sure that, because there was an issue that, slaves, are they really citizens? I mean, they were brought over here and blah, 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 blah. And so they ended up fixing that or solving that problem with the 14th Amendment. But at some point you're like, okay, does this even apply anymore?
No, it's got to stop. It's got to stop.
So, and of course the Democrats will fearmonger and lie to everybody and say, he said 14th Amendment. He said he doesn't like the 14th Amendment. He said we should get rid of the 14th Amendment. That means he's saying that all black people should not be citizens. No, they're already citizens.
That's projection. Because they're racist.
They want to go back to the plantation and own all the black people is what they want.
Somebody told me, one of the folks that watch our scope all the time during the show messaged out to us that welfare doing what slavery couldn't do.
Ah, that's a very
welfare finishing what slavery started.
Yeah.
Folks, it's what it is.
Well, let's go back to the Dreamers real quick.
Okay.
So the story is, the rumors are that there are, the people who are, this is their house, the Congress.
Right.
They are allowed to bring a guest, each and every one of them. So apparently a whole bunch of them decided that the guests they're going to bring are going to be Dreamers. And by the way, Dreamers, which is a misnomer because there are no such thing as Dreamers. The DREAM Act failed, and so DACA was an executive order that Obama wrote that has been taken away by Donald Trump.
Because it's illegal, but anyways.
Right. So Dreamers, DACA, all that stuff is off the table. But so what does that mean? The people that are coming as guests are illegal aliens. They were under DACA too, but now they are. There's no Dreamer, there's no DACA, no nothing. It's illegal aliens are coming to the State of the Union address. And as you heard Milo say, I guess what would be a dream State of the Union is to have them deported on the spot. So I don't know. I it's funny, whatever. If you want to, that's his dream act, right? The dream DACA or the dream State of the Union address. I don't like the idea. There's something really dirty about having open lawlessness in the halls of Congress. I mean, what does that say about Congress? That they're just like, they make these laws, they write them. They're not supposed to enforce them, but they're not going to allow the enforcement of the laws that they wrote or their predecessors wrote in the damn building that they were written in. It's just, the whole thing is just so hypocritical. It's nasty. It's dirty. It's disgusting.
There's just people glad-handing. I'm watching.
He's looking at C-SPAN real quick, but
C-SPAN just got panning all over the place.
You could probably do the split screen since we're up in the corner, right?
Yeah, I can.
To jam it in there.
There you go. They're just glad-handing the Bernie Sanders.
They're
burning.
Not even. Yeah, there's some shaking hands. They're kind of they're basically loitering.
Yes, loitering for sure. You've got all kinds of people there. You've got the great generals that are there. What was the story that Bill Stills was talking about? Rogers, General Rogers.
I can't remember the details of it.
Rogers came to Donald Trump.
You have the audio. You have the video of that. Here comes Melania.
I know, but Melania's coming down the walkway.
Well, you could jam the video. It's like 2 minutes or something.
Now Melania.
All right, we'll look at Melania. She's beautifully dressed.
So what does it say that Rogers goes to Donald Trump elect to the Trump Towers where Trump is holding his entire campaign was held out of there. Everything he ever did was out of Trump Towers, and Rogers goes up to Trump Towers to Donald Trump, has unannounced, has a talk with him, and then all of a sudden everybody bugs out, completely gone. Trump Towers is no longer the headquarters for Trump campaign. Right. What does that tell you?
Yeah. It's I really didn't know all the actual details of that story until I saw the video that I hope we'll have time to play. We might not. Melania's already in and seated. Oh, they're calling. Oh, they just called the President of the United States.
Oh, did they?
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States. So here he comes. Can you give us audio?
I can't.
Oh, they might be announcing on C-SPAN.
Here's what I'll do. I'll tell you what I'll do.
Because right now the White House, they're not gonna do video until probably he starts speaking.
Okay, I have to do this. I'll cut and then cut back.
Okay. He's doing okay. If they're announcing though, I'd say to hell with them. You know how C-SPAN is, a bunch of government paid hacks.
Why is the WhiteHouse.gov?
They're not going to start video until he's up there and about ready to speak.
Really?
I mean, that's the way I look at it. Do you see it any other way? It looks like it.
Okay, so all the glad handing is going to be there.
Right.
All right. Well, I'll just leave that there as it is for right now.
All right.
It'll be good to go.
Boy, they got a long train of people coming in. There's
Wow. You're not kidding, huh?
Yeah, that's why it takes like 10 hours for them to do this. It's 9:01 right now, and they are going to take their grand old time. In fact, it would not surprise me if the first words that come out of Donald Trump's mouth don't happen until about 9:20.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I've got a great clip I've been wanting to play for a little bit.
Stand by and listen to this.
Yeah, Joe DeGeneva. I know of folks you've been asking about Joe. I've got Joe's audio. I've actually played it on our last show. But this is something that you absolutely must hear. Joe speaking about the corruption and everything with
this is big.
With
this
Trump.
Is crazy what you're about to hear.
They tried to frame an incoming president with a false Russian conspiracy that never existed, and they knew it, and they plotted to ruin him as a candidate and then destroy him as a president. The court issues this 99-page opinion which I'll bet you didn't even know about until I talked about it this morning, describes illegal activity by the FBI, illegal activity by contractors, and it calls it the improper disclosure of raw intelligence about Americans to unauthorized individuals. It is believed that among those contractors were Fusion GPS and CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is the company that was used to bleach Hillary's computer. They've blanked out the names of the contractors and the names of the FBI and DOJ officials who broke the law. That is going to come out. That's what Nunes has. He has all that information now. He knows what's in these blanks that the court blanked out. Trump said, I was spied on by the President of the United States. He was laughed at. In fact, he was spied on by the President of the United States, by Barack Obama, under Barack Obama's orders, and under the orders of John Brennan and Clapper, the Director of National Intelligence, and Susan Rice, the National Security Advisor, and Ben Rhodes, the Deputy National Security Advisor. One of the heroes in this entire story is Admiral Mike Rogers, the head of the National Security Agency. He knows that Trump was the subject of a plot. So Admiral Rogers goes to visit President Trump, President-elect Trump, briefs the president. And it is after that briefing, the very next day, that President-elect Trump moves his entire staff out of Trump Tower to Bedminster, New Jersey, where his golf club is, and that's where the transition team stays until Trump Tower is debugged. It's all over. The great hero will not be Robert Mueller. It will be shown that Admiral Rogers saved the day.
Is that crazy?
I got you.
Admiral Rogers. You said General. Admiral. I forgot. Admiral of the Navy, you know.
Apologize. I was in the Air Force, Marine Corps.
Yeah. So I should know because the Marine Corps is part of the Navy. But
do you guys don't have admirals?
Not the Marine Corps, but the Marine Corps is part of. There's Speaker Ryan, the cuck. Yeah, well,
big one.
Anyway, wow. So that's shocking that Brian was like really stop and think about this. Imagine you just got elected president of the United States. It's totally unlikely because you're just an average Joe Schmo. And next thing you know, some guy, some admiral comes to your office where you got all the people that you're doing your transition and everything. And he comes in and he goes, and he has to like write down what he needs to say to Donald Trump, which is basically this whole place is wired. Let's get the hell out of here and don't ever come back again. And that's literally what happened. You said that he packed everybody up. They moved to some golf.
Donald Trump's golf course, a different golf course.
In New Jersey or something like that. And they never came back. So, there's look at all these.
The old salty dogs.
The train of people coming in. Oh, now they're all right. Now they're talking. Now the president has just been announced to come in.
We'll keep that down because you're not going to be able to hear Trump anyways right now.
Oh, yeah, you'll barely, You'll have to have special microphones to get over everybody clapping and screaming stuff in his ear and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so this is the part when they're coming down the aisle where everybody is trying to get their 2 or 3 words in to Donald Trump.
Something.
Because this is like the only time they ever get to talk to him. Now, I've been told that to get this position on the aisle to shake his hand is just the way you would ever imagine it. They have to come in hours and hours early and literally stake this spot out on the aisle. Hours early and just camp out.
Wow.
All these people along the aisle that get to shake his hand just came early. That's how they got that spot to shake his hand.
Look at all those women shaking his. That one woman just groped his entire arm.
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
It's going to happen. So he's coming down. So
I'm excited about him talking about America first. I'm excited about he made the speech, the pitch, the greatest sales pitch I have ever seen in Davos, Switzerland, to the world that America is open for business. This right here is going to be a sales speech to the American people that what is my dreams, my visions, the things that you have, your dreams, your visions, together, we're coming together and we're making that reality.
And based on everything I've seen so far of Trump, compared to everything I've seen from all the other presidents, this is not going to be smoke up your butt type crap. This is going to be real. This is going... Seriously, I'm sick and tired of just like lip service, right? And so this is what's so exciting about having a Donald Trump as president is that it's whatever he's saying, it's going to be something that he genuinely wants to have happen or that is genuinely actually happening. I know there's a lot of... he likes to pat himself on the back, which is fine, but he doesn't do it if he doesn't deserve it. So
right.
I think it was a rapper that once said, if I don't say I'm the best, tell me who the hell will.
Oh, there you go. Hey, let me do some house cleaning and do some fixing here real quick while I get this set up, while Trump gets ready.
So one thing, Jimmy Kimmel is going to have his show tonight, and he's supposed to have Stormy Daniels on. I'll tell you real quick about what I think about the Stormy Daniels debacle. Basically, it's a porn star that claims to have had some sort of sexual relations with Donald Trump after he was married, and better hurry up, he's about to start speaking.
I got it.
And I think it's a bunch of crap because they would have definitely known about this during the campaign, and for them not to use this in October surprise is an impossibility in my opinion. My humble opinion.
Come on! What are we talking about here?
All right, here we go. Lots of clapping. Lots and lots. This is typical. This is typical.
Is that Mattis? Mad Dog Mattis?
Yeah, don't be surprised and think that that all these people are all cheering him. This is just tradition right here. There's people that are clapping right now that they're just doing it for tradition.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and the distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
Oh, here we go, another few more minutes.
Yeah, exactly. This is how it's going to be all night, folks. There'll be a couple of words, and then about 30 to 60 seconds of clapping, and then another couple of words.
See, that's why you're here with us.
That's right. This is the party room right here.
Yes. Get your adult beverages.
Get your box of wine.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Vice President, members of Congress, the First Lady of the United States, and my fellow Americans. Less than 1 year has passed since I first stood at this podium in this majestic chamber to speak on behalf of the American people and to address their concerns, their hopes, and their dreams. That night, our new administration had already taken very swift action. A new tide of optimism was already sweeping across our land. Each day since, we have gone forward with a clear vision and a righteous mission to make America great again for all Americans.
Only half the room stands up.
But he just said, make America great again for all Americans.
They're not Americans.
Oh, those are the dreamers?
No.
Over the last year, we have made incredible progress and achieved extraordinary success. We have faced challenges we expected and others we could never have imagined. We have shared in the heights of victory and the pains of hardship. We have endured floods and fires and storms. But through it all, we have seen the beauty of America's soul and the steel in America's spine. Each test has forged new American heroes to remind us who we are and show us what we can be. We saw the volunteers of the Cajun Navy racing to the rescue with their fishing boats to save people in the aftermath of a totally devastating hurricane. We saw strangers shielding strangers from a hail of gunfire on the Las Vegas Strip. We heard tales of Americans like Coast Guard Petty Officer Ashley Leopard, who is here tonight in the gallery with Melania.
We learned about the Cajun Navy from Steve Spell, who we had as a guest on here, who's from Louisiana, who actually helped on that when they had those floods there.
Ashley was aboard one of the first helicopters on the scene in Houston during the Hurricane Harvey. Through 18 hours of wind and rain, Ashley braved live power lines and deep water to help save more than 40 lives. Ashley, we all thank you. Thank you very much.
I'll be honest, that might be a little uncomfortable for me if that was me up there. Everybody clapping for you. You're just doing your job.
It's a bucket list item, though. You got to get up there.
Yeah.
We heard about Americans like firefighter David Dahlberg. He's here with us also. David faced down walls of flame to rescue almost 60 children trapped at a California summer camp threatened by those devastating wildfires. To everyone still recovering in Texas, Florida, Louisiana, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands, everywhere, we are with you, we love you, and we always will pull through together, always.
Oh. Who's clapping right in the mic?
It might be Trump.
Oh. Thank you to David and the brave people of California. Thank you very much, David. Great job. Some trials over the past year touched this chamber very personally. With us tonight is one of the toughest people ever to serve in this House. A guy who took a bullet, almost died, and was back to work 3.5 months later. The legend from Louisiana, Congressman Steve Scalise.
Wow.
Who was shot by a crazed Democrat who was insane and obsessed with CNN and all of CNN's reporting. Bernie Sanders then went back out very afterwards and said, oh, he's a Bernie Sanders supporter. Bernie Sanders went back out and said, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we need to fight fire.
Do more of that. Yeah.
More anger and fight.
Yep. And you know, he wanted to kill all of them. He wanted to kill all the Republican congressmen because CNN pretty much coerced him.
I think they like you, Steve. We're incredibly grateful for the heroic efforts of the Capitol Police officers, the Alexandria Police, and the doctors, nurses, and paramedics who saved his life and the lives of many others, some in this room. In the aftermath, yes.
Trump needs to make sure that his clapping is a little bit further away from that microphone. Not to get nitpicked, but
he's got those hands.
In the aftermath of that terrible shooting, we came together, not as Republicans or Democrats, but as representatives of the people. But it is not enough to come together only in times of tragedy. Tonight, I call upon all of us to set aside our differences, to seek out common ground, and to summon the unity we need to deliver for the people. This is really the key. These are the people we were elected to serve.
Ooh, she don't look happy. She ain't even clapping.
They just showed Chuck Schumer.
He wasn't happy either.
Oh, he looked like he looked like the devil. He literally looked like the devil. He's clapping now. He's clapping.
Okay. Oh, she is not clapping.
She is furious.
Look at her move her dentures around.
Over the last year, the world has seen what we always knew, that no people on earth are so fearless or daring or determined as Americans. If there is a mountain, we climb it. If there's a frontier, we cross it. If there's a challenge, we tame it. If there's an opportunity, we seize it. So let's begin tonight by recognizing that the state of our union is strong because our people are strong.
There you go. I like that. You know, they always got to say it, the state of our union is strong. It's like this gratuitous line that every single president has to say at every single State of the Union address.
And together we are building a safe, strong, and proud America.
There you go, safe.
Since the election, we have created 2.4 million new jobs, including...
They didn't even let him finish. I love it.
Including 200,000 new jobs in manufacturing alone. Tremendous numbers. After years and years of wage stagnation, we are finally seeing rising wages.
Look, the Democrats are so angry at the higher wages.
Look, the whole section of Democrats, the whole section is sitting down.
They're so angry. They don't want you to have higher wages.
Their nightmares come true.
Unemployment claims have hit a 45-year low. And something I'm very proud of, African American unemployment stands at the lowest rate ever recorded.
Wow, it's screaming for that. That's awesome.
Wow. What is up with the Black Caucus? What's up with the Black Caucus? None of them stood up.
No.
None of them even clapping.
And Hispanic American unemployment has also reached the lowest levels in history.
Wow.
They just don't like that. This is not good looking for them, and they're not clapping this stuff.
Small business confidence is at an all-time high. The stock market has smashed one record after another, gaining $8 trillion and more in value in just this short period of time. The great news...
We can credit President Trump for the optimism.
The great news for Americans, 401k, retirement pension, and college savings accounts have gone through the roof. And just as I promised the American people from this podium 11 months ago, we enacted the biggest tax cuts and reforms in American history.
We needed that. That's something that every single...
How is the Democrats, none of them stand or clap for tax cuts?
This is not looking good for them.
tax cuts.
Or tax reform in general. I know they're going to try to say that it's just tax cuts for the wealthy, but that's just a lie. And they're losing that narrative. They're losing that argument. And when they sit down and don't clap it... McConnell was sitting there not clapping.
Our massive tax cuts provide tremendous relief for the middle class and small business. To lower tax rates for hardworking Americans we nearly doubled the standard deduction for everyone.
Wow. Think about that.
Joe Kennedy III is going to refute this.
Now the first $24,000 earned by a married couple is completely tax-free.
All these things are true, and Joe Kennedy is going to go out and lie it through his teeth.
But how does that not promote marriage? How does that not promote
we
unity?
also doubled the child tax credit.
There you go.
A typical family of four making $75,000 will see their tax bill reduced by $2,000, slashing their tax bill in half.
I welcome that. That's me. I got a family of five. I make way less than that.
In April, this will be the last time you will ever file under the old and very broken system, and millions of Americans will have more take-home pay starting next month. A lot more.
Wow. You know, the company that I work for just sent out an email to everybody showing us the tax deductions, you know, of your paycheck before, you know, when you get paid, and then at the end of the year you file. It's all been a lot
We
lower.
eliminated an especially cruel tax that fell mostly on Americans making less than $50,000 a year, forcing them to pay tremendous penalties simply because they couldn't afford government-ordered health plans.
Yes.
We repealed the core of the disastrous Obamacare. The individual mandate is now gone.
Yes. There's a roaring cheer for that one, guys. Roaring cheer.
Did he say Obamacare?
Who knows?
No, that's okay. You mispronounced that. Oh, she's not happy.
He's trying to give them credit.
We slashed the business tax rate from 35% all the way down to 21%, so American companies can compete and win against anyone else anywhere in the world. These changes alone are estimated to increase average family income by more than $4,000. A lot of money.
Yeah, you better clap. $4,000? That's enough to buy 4 TVs.
Small businesses have also received a massive tax cut and can now deduct 20% of their business income. Here tonight are Steve Staub and Sandy Keplinger of Staub Manufacturing, a small, beautiful business in Ohio. They've just finished the best year in their 20-year history.
Woo-hoo. Ohio, that's where we're broadcasting from.
Manufacturing right here in Cincinnati. It's coming back big time.
Because of tax reform, they are handing out raises, hiring an additional 14 people, and expanding into the building next door. Good feeling.
Wow.
One of Staub's employees, Corey Adams, is also with us tonight.
He raised his hand.
Corey is an all-American worker. He supported himself through high school, lost his job during the 2008 recession, and was later hired by Staub, where he trained to become a welder. Like many hardworking Americans, Corey plans to invest his tax cut raise into his new home and his 2 daughters' education. Corey, please stand.
Dude, that's him.
And he's a great welder. I was told that by the man that owns that company that's doing so well. So congratulations, Corey. Since we passed tax cuts, roughly 3 million workers have already gotten tax cut bonuses, many of them thousands and thousands of dollars per worker, and it's getting more every month, every week. Apple has just announced it plans to invest a total of $350 billion in America and hire another 20,000 workers. And just a little while ago, ExxonMobil announced a $50 billion investment in the United States. Just a little while ago. This, in fact, is our new American moment. There has never been a better time to start living the American dream. So, to every citizen watching at home tonight, no matter where you've been or where you've come from, this is your time. If you work hard, if you believe in yourself, if you believe in America, then you can dream anything. You can be anything. And together, we can achieve absolutely anything.
Man. Nice. Wow. That's the capitalist mindset. That is the capitalist mindset. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in what you're doing.
And work hard.
Work hard. It's a lot of work, but the reward in the end is tremendous.
Tonight, I want to talk about what kind of future we're going to have and what kind of a nation we're going to be. All of us together as one team, one people, and one American family can do anything. We all share the same home, the same heart, the same destiny, and the same great American flag.
Somebody's going to be triggered. I'm telling you.
NFL, triggered.
There's a lot to be said about that.
Together, we are rediscovering the American way. In America, we know that faith and family, not government and bureaucracy, are the center of American life. The motto is, "In God we trust."
Nice.
Oh, man.
Paul Ryan pointed up to the sky. Oh, it's actually written above the top of the podium.
Wow.
Above the podium, I should say. They are not clapping. They're a bunch of atheists, heathens.
Yep. And we celebrate our police, our military, and our amazing veterans as heroes who deserve our total and unwavering support.
You better stand up, Democrats. I'm telling you. I don't know. Are they going to show it?
Okay, they're standing.
Couple of them.
Here tonight is Preston Sharp, a 12-year-old boy from Redding, California, who noticed that veterans' graves were not marked with flags on Veterans Day.
What?
He decided all by himself to change that and started a movement that has now placed 40,000 flags at the graves of our great heroes. Wow. Preston, a job well done.
I don't know about Preston, but I wish he had highlighted the American Heritage Girls. They do that every Veterans Day. My daughter and a whole, scores of girls all across the city will put the flags and whatnot in front of the veterans' graves here in Cincinnati.
American Heritage Girls not supported by Planned Parenthood.
Or vice versa.
Young patriots like Preston teach all of us about our civic duty as Americans. And I met Preston a little while ago, And he is something very special that I can tell you. Great future. Thank you very much for all you've done, Preston. Thank you very much. Preston's reverence for those who have served our nation reminds us of why we salute our flag, why we put our hands on our hearts for the Pledge of Allegiance, and why we proudly stand for the national anthem.
Wow. You know, you can't refute that. You can't refute that.
Not even close. Wow. They're still screaming.
They gave him another.
Yeah, they're still screaming.
Americans love their country, and they deserve a government that shows them the same love and loyalty in return. For the last year, we have sought to restore the bonds of trust between our citizens and their government. Working with the Senate, we are appointing judges who will interpret the Constitution as written, including a great new Supreme Court justice and more circuit court judges than any new administration in the history of our country.
Historic. That is historic. That's taking back America right there.
He's not supposed to clap, by the way.
No, they're not. None of them. None of them are supposed to. No.
We are totally defending our Second Amendment and have taken historic actions to protect religious liberty.
First and Second Amendment, folks.
And we are serving our brave veterans, including giving our veterans choice in their health care decisions.
Wow.
Oh, here comes the stand. They want to clap for him.
Only one side stood up for that.
Yeah. The left is showing that they don't care about our veterans at all.
Look, they're all no, they can care less. Not even
Last year,
clapping.
Congress also passed, and I signed, the landmark VA Accountability Act.
Because Obama was letting the VA kill veterans.
Since its passage, my administration has already removed more than 1,500 VA employees who failed to give our veterans the care they deserve. And we are hiring talented people who love our vets as much as we do.
By the way, I got to visit the VA hospital for the first time in my life just this past year, and I was amazed at the treatment I got.
It's awesome.
I was expecting bad, but it was the opposite.
They pick you up in golf carts out in the parking lot. They drive you up
front. I will not stop until our veterans are properly taken care of, which has been my promise to them from the very beginning of this great journey.
After visiting the VA hospital, I kind of felt more proud to be an American than ever.
Deserve accountability and respect, and that's what we are giving to our wonderful heroes, our veterans. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So tonight I call on Congress to empower every cabinet secretary with the authority to reward good workers and to remove federal employees who undermine the public trust or fail the American people.
Wow. Oh, they're going to get a stand up on this. Oh, the left is not even clapping.
They're just like, what is this?
In our drive to make Washington accountable, we have eliminated more regulations in our first year than any administration in the history of our country.
And that's something to cheer. Paul Ryan is like, thank you. I've been wanting to do this for years.
Well, I couldn't because, I'm a cooker. I'm a conservative. I can't do nothing.
We have ended the war on American energy, and
Yes.
we have ended the war on beautiful, clean coal.
We're getting closer to ending the hoax that is global warming. That would be nice.
We are now very proudly an exporter of energy to the world.
Wow.
In Detroit, I halted government mandates that crippled America's great, beautiful auto workers so that we can get Motor City revving its engines again. And that's what's happening.
It's going to take more than a Donald Trump to rejuvenate.
It's going to take the gutting of every communist Democrat in Detroit. Dearborn, Michigan? I don't know how you take that back.
Many car companies are now building and expanding plants in the United States, something we haven't seen for decades. Chrysler is moving a major plant from Mexico to Michigan. Toyota and Mazda are opening up a plant in Alabama, a big one, and we haven't seen this in a long time.
We haven't.
It's all coming back.
Well, I'll tell you what, Michigan's going to be happy about that.
Ford coming back, Chrysler coming back, Toyota, Mazda, absolutely incredible. Huge Honda plant here in Indiana, in Greensburg, Indiana, just huge Honda plant.
Very soon, auto plants and other plants will be opening up all over our country. This is all news Americans are totally unaccustomed to hearing. For many years, companies and jobs were only leaving us.
That's right.
But now,
for like 50
they
years.
are roaring back. They're coming back. They want to be where the action is. They want to be in the United States of America. That's what they want.
I could just totally see him saying that to world leaders all over the world. You want to be where the action is. You want to be here in the United States. I could just totally see him saying that.
Honestly, I talked to all the old guys in machine shops. Our career is over with. We're done. The machine shop's dead. Not anymore.
Right.
Exciting progress is happening every single day. To speed access to breakthrough cures and affordable generic drugs, last year, the FDA approved more new and generic drugs and medical devices than ever before in our country's history.
I forgot to check to see if the Democrats did not clap for all the jobs and businesses coming to America.
We also believe that patients with terminal conditions, terminal illness, should have access to experimental treatment immediately that could potentially save their lives.
I like that.
People who are terminally ill should not have to go from country to country to seek a cure. I want to give them a chance right here at home. It's time for Congress to give these wonderful, incredible Americans the right to try.
The right to try. I like that. Why not try something risky on somebody's terminal?
Because they are trying. They're going to Canada, they're going to Mexico, Europe. They're trying anything they can try.
Right. Even if it's life-threatening because they have a terminal illness.
Andy Kaufman, anyone?
One of my greatest priorities is to reduce the price of prescription drugs.
There you go.
A businessman like Trump could pull that off. Oh, did you see what he just did?
No, what'd he do?
He did the rise up towards the Democrats. Oh, he went like this.
In other countries, these drugs cost far less than what we pay in the United States, and it's very, very unfair. That is why I've directed my administration to make fixing the injustice of high drug prices one of my top priorities for the year.
Wow, that's a good New Year's resolution right there.
I'm telling you right now, the news is going to be telling the Democrats to get up off your asses and start cheering for the American people. That's going to be a big news.
Not for Trump.
Prices will come down substantially. Watch. America has also finally turned the page on decades of unfair trade deals that sacrificed our prosperity and shipped away our companies, our jobs, and our wealth. Our nation has lost its wealth, but we're getting it back so fast. The era of economic surrender is totally over. From now on, we expect trading relationships to be fair and, very importantly, reciprocal.
Rise up, Democrats, rise up.
We will work to fix bad trade deals and negotiate new ones, and they'll be good ones, but they'll be fair. And we will protect American workers and American intellectual property through strong enforcement of our trade rules.
Nice.
We have the power to do it. We should.
We got a strong president
As
that
we
will tell him to do
rebuild
it.
our industries, it is also time to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure.
Which Obama promised to do. What the hell happened to that?
Trillions of dollars disappeared.
Went to Iran.
Billions went to Iran, yeah.
$500 million went to Solyndra.
America is a nation of builders. We built the Empire State Building.
Here we go.
In just 1 year.
I love this.
Isn't it a disgrace that it can now take 10 years just to get a minor permit approved for the building of a simple road?
It took 10 years to build the World Trade Center, which right there, it was a big black eye. That's a big black eye to take that.
By the way,
long.
Trump owned the Empire State Building and sold
I'm
it.
asking both parties to come together to give us safe, fast, reliable, and modern infrastructure that our economy needs and our people deserve.
The Democrats should love this because they've owned infrastructure because it's government money. It's government spending.
Look at them.
I don't know how they're not cheering this on. This has always been a Democrat thing for them.
Tonight, I'm calling on Congress to produce a bill that generates at least $1.5 trillion for the new infrastructure investment that our country so desperately needs. Every federal dollar should be leveraged by partnering with state and local governments and, where appropriate, tapping into private sector investment to permanently fix the infrastructure deficit, and we can do it.
Trump can do it. I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to work with all these slap whatevers because they don't know what they're doing. They got to pretty much listen to Trump.
Any bill must also streamline the permitting and approval process, getting it down to no more than 2 years and perhaps even 1. Together, we can reclaim our great building heritage.
Should be less than a year.
I would think so.
I would throw up a skyscraper in a year.
None of the Democrats want to reclaim.
We will build gleaming new roads, bridges, highways, railways, and waterways all across our land. And we will do it with American heart, and American hands, and American grit.
Nice.
Now, the Democrats are hating this so much because they don't want to give the credit for all of this to Donald Trump. This has been their pet project.
We want every American to know the dignity of a hard day's work. We want every child to be safe in their home at night. And we want every citizen to be proud of this land that we all love so much. We can lift our citizens from welfare to work, from dependence to independence, and from poverty to prosperity.
Well, they always say, too, that one of the puzzle pieces to middle class in America is to just hold a job. Stay married, hold a job.
Capitalism cures all of that.
Cuts create new jobs. Let's invest in workforce development, and let's invest in job training, which we need so badly.
It's called education reform.
Yeah.
Big time. We used to have vocational.
You don't see nobody rioting at a trade school, do you?
Let's open great vocational schools.
What did I just say?
Future workers can learn a craft and realize their full potential.
Oh, the Democrats are standing up. Some of them, not all of them, about half of them.
I support an entire family on a trade being a machinist.
Oh, my gosh.
Support working families by supporting paid family leave.
Well, that's is that Ivanka Trump's pet project? Oh. They just showed Ivanka. Yeah.
As America regains its strength, opportunity must be extended to all citizens. That is why this year we will embark on reforming our prisons to help former inmates who have served their time get a second chance at life.
I kind of like this idea. This is interesting. We'll have to talk about this a little bit, maybe on the next show or something, because I've had a lot of opinions about people that go to prison and come out and all that kind of stuff.
Struggling communities, especially immigrant communities, will also be helped by immigration policies that focus on the best interests of American workers and American families. For decades, open borders have allowed drugs and gangs to pour into our most vulnerable communities. They've allowed millions of low-wage workers to compete for jobs and wages against the poorest Americans. Most tragically, they have caused the loss of many innocent lives. Here tonight are two fathers and two mothers, Evelyn Rodriguez, Freddie Cuevas, Elizabeth Alvarado, and Robert Mickens. Their two teenage daughters, Kayla Cuevas and Nisa Mickens, were close friends on Long Island. But in September 2016, on the eve of Nisa's 16th birthday, such a happy time it should have been, neither of them came home. These two precious girls were brutally murdered while walking together in their hometown. 6 members of the savage MS-13 gang have been charged with Kayla and Nisa's murders. Many of these gang members took advantage of glaring loopholes in our laws to enter the country as illegal, unaccompanied, alien minors and wound up in Kayla and Nisa's high school. Evelyn, Elizabeth, Freddie, and Robert, tonight everyone in this chamber is praying for you. Everyone in America is grieving for you.
Wow.
Please stand. Thank you very much.
Wow. As a father, how could you not fall apart?
I'm glad that
this
Donald
a year
Trump
and a half ago
was able to ignore those damn idiots that were groaning as he was leading up to telling these angel family stories. Boy, did he ever slap them in the face for that. Man, that is just disgusting that those people were groaning right before he got to this story. I hope they feel this big after that. Angel families are right there, and you're over there groaning about not letting MS-13 in and all these people. Oh my gosh. They got blood on their hands, those people that were groaning. I hope they feel terrible.
I want you to know that 320 million hearts are right now breaking for you. We love you. Thank you. While we cannot imagine the depths of that kind of sorrow, we can make sure that other families never have to endure this kind of pain. Tonight I am calling on Congress to finally close the deadly loopholes that have allowed MS-13 and other criminal gangs to break into our country. We have proposed new legislation that will fix our immigration laws and support our ICE and Border Patrol agents. These are great people. These are great people.
And they were one of the first to endorse
that
him.
work so hard in the midst of such danger, so that this can never happen again.
It was incredible how Trump did just that throughout immigration, support ICE enforcement, and all of this. You cannot moan and groan about that because it's attached to those people who lost their children.
It is. And they're not the only ones.
The United States is a compassionate nation. We are proud that we do more than any other country anywhere in the world to help the needy, the struggling, and the underprivileged all over the world. But as President of the United States, my highest loyalty, my greatest compassion, my constant concern is for America's children, America's struggling workers, and America's forgotten communities. I want our youth to grow up, to achieve great things. I want our poor to have their chance to rise. So tonight I am extending an open hand to work with members of both parties, Democrats and Republicans, to protect our citizens of every background, color, religion, and creed.
There's your olive branch right there, baby. He just parlayed all of that. I mean, that was genius. For the Democrats to say no now is...
And the sacred duty of every elected official in this chamber is to defend Americans, to protect their safety, their families, their communities, and their right to the American dream. Because Americans are dreamers too.
There's another stick. This can't, there you go, stand up. This cannot be about people in other countries. This has to be about Americans.
Here tonight is one leader in the effort to defend our country. Homeland Security Investigation Special Agent Celestino Martinez. He goes by DJ and CJ. He said, call me either one. So we'll call you CJ. Served 15 years in the Air Force before becoming an ICE agent and spending the last 15 years fighting gang violence and getting dangerous criminals off of our streets. Tough job. At one point, MS-13 leaders ordered CJ's murder, and they wanted it to happen quickly. But he did not cave to threats or to fear. Last May, he commanded an operation to track down gang members on Long Island. His team has arrested nearly 400, including more than 220 MS-13 gang members. And I have to tell you, what the Border Patrol and ICE have done, we have sent thousands and thousands and thousands of MS-13 horrible people out of this country or into our prisons. So I just want to congratulate you, CJ. You're a brave guy. Thank you very much.
Yes. Folks, this is what it's about. It's about America first. You cannot run a country thinking about other people from other countries. You've got to bring it home.
And I asked CJ, what's the secret? He said, we're just tougher than they are. And I like that answer.
You gotta be. That's the way you deal with it.
Now let's get Congress to send you and all of the people in this great chamber have to do it. We have no choice. CJ, we're going to send you reinforcements, and we're going to send them to you quickly. It's what you need. Over the next few weeks, the House and Senate will be voting on an immigration reform package.
Here it comes.
In recent months, my administration has met extensively with both Democrats and Republicans to craft a bipartisan approach to immigration reform. Based on these discussions, we presented Congress with a detailed proposal that should be supported by both parties as a fair compromise, one where nobody gets everything they want, but where our country gets the critical reforms it needs and must have.
Compromise for the people. No Democrat is standing. Not a single one.
Here are the 4 pillars.
Neither is Marco Rubio.
The first pillar of our framework generously offers a path to citizenship for 1.8 million illegal immigrants who were brought here by their parents at a young age. That covers almost 3 times more people than the previous administration covered.
Well, he made some gestures there. He made that kind of theatrical.
Under our plan, those who meet education and work requirements and show good moral character will be able to become full citizens of the United States over a 12-year period. The second pillar fully secures the border.
Fully.
Dude, those Democrats are moaning on this thing. And this is the best they've got. They got nothing else. Am I right? I got nothing.
You're right.
That means building a great wall on the southern border, and it means hiring more heroes like CJ to keep our communities safe.
You know he's going to get hammered for referring to the wall as being on the southern border. Well, why not on the northern border? That's racist.
That's a second.
Crucially, our plan closes the terrible loopholes exploited by criminals and terrorists to enter our country, and it finally ends the horrible and dangerous practice of catch and release.
Ooh. Ooh. That's huge in LA, by the way.
It's pretty much non-enforcement. And that is the central.
The third pillar ends the visa lottery, a program that randomly hands out green cards without any regard for skill, merit, or the safety of American people.
Woo!
That's making America great again. No, the catch and release is what sanctuary cities.
Look at Nancy Pelosi.
She is angry.
It's time to begin moving toward a merit-based immigration system, one that admits people who are skilled, who want to work, who will contribute to our society, and who will love and respect our country.
It's going to be their country, right?
Yes.
Right.
It will be their country. Don't be angry. Oh, that was the bald-headed senator. What was? Oh, the one that went on the tirade and started lamb-blasting one of the female.
The fourth and final pillar protects the nuclear family by ending chain migration.
Yes.
Chain migration is probably the worst part of our current
if you talk about criminality.
Under the current broken system, a single immigrant can bring in virtually unlimited numbers of distant relatives. Under our plan, we focus on the immediate family by limiting sponsorships to spouses and minor children.
Amen! What's wrong with that? Love those moans and groans.
Boy, that was the loudest moans.
Yeah.
He didn't like the unlimited.
This vital reform is necessary not just for our economy, but for our security and for the future of America. In recent weeks, 2 terrorist attacks in New York were made possible by the visa lottery and chain migration. In the age of terrorism, these programs present risks we can just no longer afford. It's time to reform.
Like how I started that one?
Yeah, Brian led that one.
These outdated immigration rules and finally bring our immigration system into the 21st century.
Yes.
One guy stood up. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people stood up.
These 4 pillars represent a down-the-middle compromise and one that will create a safe, modern, and lawful immigration system.
Lawful.
For over 30 years, Washington has tried and failed to solve this problem. This Congress can be the one that finally makes it happen. Most importantly, these 4 pillars will produce legislation that fulfills my ironclad pledge to sign a bill that puts America first.
Oh, no, he didn't. Did he just say America first? Oh, damn. Wow. I love it.
So let's come together, set politics aside, and finally get the job done.
Problem solver. Problem solver.
That's what businessmen are. Businessmen and women. They solve problems.
These reforms will also support our response to the terrible crisis of opioid and drug addiction. Never before has it been like it is now. It is terrible. We have to do something about it. In 2016, we lost 64,000 Americans to drug overdoses.
Wow.
174 deaths per day, 7 per hour. We must get much tougher on drug dealers and pushers if we are going to succeed in stopping this scourge.
It is a problem. I feel like everybody knows somebody that is a victim of this. If you don't know somebody directly, you know somebody that knows somebody. It's definitely a worse problem than I've ever seen in my lifetime.
My administration is committed to fighting the drug epidemic and helping get treatment for those in need, for those who have been so terribly hurt. The struggle will be long and it will be difficult, but as Americans always do, in the end, we will succeed, we will prevail.
They were hoping that Donald Trump would go in there and make a fool of himself so that when they sit down, they'll look like heroes, but they look like idiots.
As we have seen tonight, the most difficult challenges bring out the best in America. We see a vivid expression of this truth in the story of the Holetz family of New Mexico. Ryan Holetz is 27 years old, an officer with the Albuquerque Police Department. He's here tonight with his wife, Rebecca.
She was just breastfeeding.
Oh, she was breastfeeding? Shut up. No. Was she? She was breastfeeding. Well,
I mean, it's all
nature.
good. It's
nature.
Raising a child. Rearing a child.
Bad timing.
Last
Bad
year,
timing.
Ryan was on duty when he saw a pregnant, homeless woman preparing to inject heroin. When Ryan told her she was going to harm her unborn child, she began to weep. She told him she didn't know where to turn, but badly wanted a safe home for her baby. In that moment, Ryan said he felt God speak to him. You will do it because you can. He heard those words. He took out a picture of his wife and their 4 kids. Then he went home to tell his wife, Rebecca. In an instant, she agreed to adopt. the Hollettes named their new daughter Hope. Ryan and Rebecca, you embody the goodness of our nation. Thank you.
Cute couple.
Maybe she was just carrying the baby in that swaddler that wraps around your neck. But usually, I don't know, I'm a guy. Usually that's...
Thank you, Ryan and Rebecca. As we rebuild America's strength and confidence at home, we are also restoring our strength and standing abroad. Around the world, we face rogue regimes, terrorist groups, and rivals like China and Russia that challenge our interests, our economy, and our values. In confronting these horrible dangers, we know that weakness is the surest path to conflict, and unmatched power is the surest means to our true and great defense. For this reason, I am asking Congress to end the dangerous defense sequester and fully fund our great military.
That don't matter.
As part of our defense, we must modernize and rebuild our nuclear arsenal, hopefully never having to use it, but making it so strong and so powerful that it will deter any acts of aggression by any other nation or anyone else.
Power through strength. Hell yeah!
Well, at least have it necessary, or have it on standby in case we have to obliterate North Korea or something like that.
Trump saw that with Reagan. He saw it firsthand growing up. He knew it.
Perhaps someday in the future there will be a magical moment when the countries of the world will get together to eliminate their nuclear weapons. Unfortunately, we are not there yet, sadly. Last year, I also pledged that we would work with our allies to extinguish ISIS from the face of the earth. 1 year later, I am proud to report that the coalition to defeat ISIS has liberated very close to 100% of the territory just recently held by these killers in Iraq and in Syria and in other locations as well.
That is not being
nobody's talking about that
at all.
100%?
In those areas that he mentioned, this is not being reported, and obviously for a good reason. I mean, they're the propaganda news networks, and they're not going to let that good news come out.
But there is much more work to be done. We will continue our fight until ISIS is defeated. Army Staff Sergeant Justin Peck is here tonight. Near Raqqa, last November, Justin and his comrade, Chief Petty Officer Kenton Stacy, were on a mission to clear buildings that ISIS had rigged with explosive so that civilians could return to that city, hopefully soon and hopefully safely. Clearing the second floor of a vital hospital, Kenton Stacy was severely wounded by an explosion. Immediately, Justin bounded into the booby-trapped and unbelievably dangerous and unsafe building and found Kenton, but in very, very bad shape. He applied pressure to the wound and inserted a tube to reopen an airway. Wow. He then performed CPR for 20 straight minutes during the ground transport and maintained artificial respiration through 2.5 hours.
That's unheard of.
And through emergency surgery. Kenton Stacy would have died if it were not for Justin's selfless love for his fellow warrior. Tonight, Kenton is recovering in Texas. Raqqa is liberated.
Well, that's a hero.
And Justin is wearing his new Bronze Star with a V for valor.
Whew.
Staff Sergeant Heck.
Wow.
All of America salutes you.
Wow. That's huge. Folks, I'm telling you, do not normally ever do CPR longer than 5 minutes.
Right.
5, 10 minutes.
They'll tell you, they're like,
that's
yeah.
it. You're dead. Give up after 5, 10. And the sweating, you would sweat. Your muscles fatigue. Absolutely exhausted.
Yeah.
20 minutes. Wow.
And then 2 hours of artificial.
And then 2 hours on top of that. Woo!
There's a hero right there.
Yeah, buddy.
Terrorists who do things like place bombs in civilian hospitals are evil. When possible, we have no choice but to annihilate them. When necessary, we must be able to detain and question them. But we must be clear. Terrorists are not merely criminals. They are unlawful enemy combatants.
Absolutely.
There's a lot to explain about that.
They need to go to Guantanamo Bay. They got no rights. They got no rights under nothing.
They're unlawful.
Maybe the Geneva Convention.
They break every Geneva Convention rule there is.
And when captured overseas, they should be treated like the terrorists they are. In the past, we have foolishly released hundreds and hundreds of dangerous terrorists.
What's a we?
Only to meet them again on the battlefield.
Obama.
Including the ISIS leader, al-Baghdadi, who we captured, who we had, who we released. So today, I'm keeping another promise. I just signed, prior to walking in, an order directing Secretary Mattis, who is doing a great job. Thank you.
Oh, man, everybody's excited about that.
Mad Dog Mattis. I tell you, when he brought him aboard, I just knew flat out. That's it. Trump knows who he needs. The reason why they call him Mad Dog Mattis.
To re-examine our military detention policy and to keep open the detention facilities in Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
There we go. That was a campaign promise of Barack Obama to close Guantanamo Bay. So he never did that, and thankfully we got Trump in there. There's a lot of close calls we had there. We almost lost Guantanamo.
I'm asking Congress to ensure that in the fight against ISIS and al-Qaeda, we continue to have all necessary power to detain terrorists wherever we chase them down, wherever we find them. And in many cases, for them, it will now be Guantanamo Bay.
The Democrats hate that. They hate that.
At the same time, as of a few months ago, our warriors in Afghanistan have new rules of engagement.
What's not been reported?
Fire when ready?
Yeah.
Along with their heroic Afghan partners, our military is no longer undermined by artificial timelines, and we no longer tell our enemies our plans.
Amen.
Thank you.
You see, Paul Ryan's getting a little tired. He had a yawn there.
He yawned?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. He tried to hide it, one of those yawns you hide. Yeah. Yeah.
Last month, I also took an action endorsed unanimously by the U.S. Senate just months before. I recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
Amen. It's huge, folks. It's huge.
Jared Kushner.
Two Jews right there.
Right?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Family members.
Yep.
Not that he did it because of nepotism, but
it had to be done.
Right. It was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Shortly afterwards, dozens of countries voted in the United Nations General Assembly against America's sovereign right to make this decision. In 2016, American taxpayers generously sent those same countries more than $20 billion in aid. That is why tonight I am asking Congress to pass legislation to help ensure American foreign assistance dollars always serve American interests and only go to friends of America, not enemies of America.
Wow, I'd like to see how that plays out.
No more pallets of cash going to Iran or anything like that? Okay.
Or the Muslim Brotherhood getting dozens and dozens of free F-16s.
Oh, my gosh. Which he did in Egypt.
Yep. Yep.
As we strengthen friendships all around the world, we are also restoring clarity about our adversaries. When the people of Iran rose up against the crimes of their corrupt dictatorship, I did not stay silent. America stands with the people of Iran in their courageous struggle for freedom.
I love it.
Nikki Haley right there, a tremendous leader, a tremendous woman. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She manhandles the UN.
Congress to address the fundamental flaws in the terrible Iran nuclear deal. My administration has also imposed tough sanctions on the communist and socialist dictatorships in Cuba and Venezuela.
There you go.
Ooh. Call it out. Say communist.
That's our pet projects there is Venezuela for Brian and Cuba for me. And basically all communist regimes.
But no regime has oppressed its own citizens more totally or brutally than the cruel dictatorship in North Korea.
I was going to say Saudi Arabia.
North Korea's reckless pursuit of nuclear missiles could very soon threaten our homeland. We are waging a campaign of maximum pressure to prevent that from ever happening. Past experience has taught us that complacency and concessions only invite aggression and provocation. I will not repeat the mistakes of past administrations that got us into this very dangerous position. We need only look at the depraved character of the North Korean regime to understand the nature of the nuclear threat it could pose to America and to our allies. Otto Warmbier was a hard-working student at the University
He's still pissed about Otto Warmbier.
of Virginia, and a great student he was. On his way to study abroad in Asia, Otto joined a tour to North Korea. At its conclusion, this wonderful young man was arrested and charged with crimes against the state. After a shameful trial, the dictatorship sentenced Otto to 15 years of hard labor before returning him to America last June, horribly injured and on the verge of death. He passed away just days after his return. Otto's wonderful parents, Fred and Cindy Rollins, are here with us tonight, along with Otto's brother and sister, Austin and Greta. Please.
He didn't forget about Otto Warmbier. He is rightfully
pissed him off.
Yeah, he's rightfully Still got that on his mind.
This is emotional. This is emotional.
He pulled a poster off of a pillar in North Korea. A poster. He got 15 years for that.
He wanted a souvenir.
Maybe you should nuke him.
I'm in the mood for it.
For real.
Woo.
Incredible people. You are powerful witnesses to a menace that threatens our world, and your strength truly inspires us all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sitting right next to the hero, too.
Yes. Right next
He
to the
stood
hero.
up. When the hero stands up and gives you a standing ovation,
Yeah.
that says a lot right there.
Oh, my goodness.
Tonight we pledge to honor Otto's memory with total American resolve. Thank you. Finally,
He's just leaving it at that, which is right.
we are joined by one more witness to the ominous nature of this regime. His name is Mr. Ji Sung-ho. In 1996, Sung-ho was a starving boy in North Korea. One day he tried to steal coal from a railroad car to barter for a few scraps of food, which were very hard to get. In the process, he passed out on the train tracks, exhausted from hunger.
Wow.
He woke up as a train ran over his limbs. He then endured multiple amputations without anything to dull the pain or the hurt. His brother and sister gave what little food they had to help him recover and ate dirt themselves, permanently stunting their own growth. Later, he was tortured by North Korean authorities after returning from a brief visit to China. His tormentors wanted to know if he'd met any Christians. He had, and he resolved after that to be free. Sung-ho traveled thousands of miles on crutches all across China and Southeast Asia to freedom. Most of his family followed. His father was caught trying to escape and was tortured to death. Today, he lives in Seoul, where he rescues other defectors and broadcasts into North Korea what the regime fears most, the truth. Today, he has a new leg, but Sung-ho, I understand you still keep those old crutches as a reminder of how far you've come. Your great sacrifice is an inspiration to us all. Please, thank you.
Wow. Wow. That is so awesome. He broadcasts the truth. He's the new media for North Korea, broadcasting out of South Korea to give the truth to the people there. It's like what we're doing here in America against CNN.
Gives you newfound thanks for being born in a free country.
Right.
And it's because of America that we can expose this and we can help others around the world.
Right. He's broadcasting the truth. I love it.
Sung-ho's story is a testament to the yearning of every human soul to live in freedom. It was that same yearning for freedom that nearly 250 years ago gave birth to a special place called America. It was a small cluster of colonies caught between a great ocean and a vast wilderness. It was home to an incredible people with a revolutionary idea that they could rule themselves.
Oh, I love it.
That they could chart their own destiny and that together they could light up the entire world. That is what our country has always been about. That is what Americans have always stood for, always strived for, and always done. Atop the dome of this Capitol stands the Statue of Freedom. She stands tall and dignified among the monuments to our ancestors who fought and lived and died to protect her. Monuments to Washington and Jefferson and Lincoln and King. Memorials to the heroes of Yorktown and Saratoga. To young Americans who shed their blood on the shores of Normandy and the fields beyond. Wow. And others who went down in the waters of the Pacific and the skies all over Asia. And freedom stands tall over one more monument. This one, this Capitol, this living monument. This is the monument to the American people.
Wow.
It's going down as one of the greatest speeches he's ever given.
This might be.
Goodness.
This might be.
Woo.
Oh, they're chanting USA!
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
When does that ever happen?
They're chanting USA.
Yes! Woo.
We're a people whose heroes live not only in the past, but all around us, defending hope, pride, and defending the American way. They work in every trade. They sacrifice to raise a family. They care for our children at home. They defend our flag abroad. And they are strong moms and brave kids. They are firefighters and police officers and border agents, yes, medics and Marines. But above all else, they are Americans. And this capital, this city, this nation,
he's calling them out,
belongs entirely to them.
Yes, it does. He called them out. He called them out. He said, this ain't yours.
No,
this ain't yours.
This is the people's.
Oh, my gosh. Greatest speech ever.
Returning the power back to the people.
He called them out. I love it. Wow.
Our task is to respect them, to listen to them, to serve them, to protect them, and to always be worthy of them. Americans fill the world with art and music. They push the bounds of science and discovery, and they forever remind us of what we should never, ever forget. The people dreamed this country. The people built this country. And it's the people who are making America great again.
American exceptionalism.
He doesn't even want to take credit for any making America, any MAGA. No.
No, it ain't him, and that's something Reagan said. Anything can be done as long as you don't care who gets credit for it. Returning the power back to the people.
As long as we are proud of who we are and what we are fighting for, there is nothing we cannot achieve. As long as we have confidence in our values, faith in our citizens, and trust in our God, we will never fail. Our families will thrive. Our people will prosper. And our nation will forever be safe and strong and proud and mighty and free. Thank you, and God bless America. Good night.
Man, that was so good.
Damn!
Man, that was good.
Woo! They're still chanting USA! Oh, I'm so glad we captured this. I'm so glad we captured this moment. So, as soon as Democrats clear out before he even leaves the stage.
Usually within minutes after and we are on
C-SPAN.
Through C-SPAN. They have Joe Kennedy is going to do the response, the Democrat response to the. You can kind of keep it low. Yeah, there you go. They're supposed to do the Democrat response to the State of the Union.
Right, and Maxine Waters is invited on BET to give her response. I think that's kind of shameful that there's an actual network, a channel that's dedicated to a specific race of people. I think that's pretty racist.
And it's owned by white people, but it is. Yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah, it's owned by white people. Okay, so right now, it just ended. What's your reaction? What do you think of it? Was it good? Was it any good?
It was his. He did an incredible ability to he spoke to the people, and I believe that he resonated with the people, and he was able to draw different people from different backgrounds, different walks of life, and bring everyone together under a common cause.
Call me vindictive, but I love how he
vindictive.
Well, as soon as he brought up a subject that the Democrats wanted to get all negative on, he just ignored them and brought up the victims of the very people that their policies have. Let's be honest, they got blood on their hands with the immigration policy, and so I like the way he made them look like idiots there. But then also at the end, he literally called out Congress by pointing out what that building was. What's this building? What are you guys? What are you doing here?
It ain't yours.
I feel like that moment in Office Space where he goes, what is it you say you do here?
Right, right.
And that's what he did to Congress collectively. And man, that was beautiful.
I mean, he went through a litany of things. This is a new tide of optimism. That's awesome.
Right.
America first, once again. America helps the world, but we are, folks, make no bones about it. America is the most generous country in the world. When natural disasters happen around in Asia, tsunamis, typhoons, whatever happens, American citizen dollars go around the world to help those causes like no other country. Capitalism makes that available, and Donald Trump championing capitalism. I think he made it a point. It's capitalism versus communism. Capitalism always wins.
Yeah, he brought that up, and he did a good job of explaining it in a way that's more modern. It's not so much, back when Reagan was president, it was always capitalism versus communism in the context of the Cold War, where we had the USSR, and it was all like USSR communism versus USA capitalism. Now it's kind of like communism is like spread out all over the world, and it's still just as dangerous and as much of a threat to freedom as it always was, and it probably always will be. So his speech was more tailored to the modern times, which I really love that.
Make America great again for all Americans. And then the one that made Trump called for unity. He called for unity, and Nancy Pelosi lost her dentures.
Yeah, she was tonguing her cold sores and whatnot. I don't know.
It was
definitely
wretched.
A herpes outbreak of some sort.
This is a new American moment where he talked about all the great folks. It's what we talk about on our show every Sunday evening, 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Military Veteran Talk Radio, Smyth Radio. It's what we talk about, all the great things that are going on in America that nobody's reporting. He talked about all the companies coming back to America: Apple, Exxon, Toyota, Mazda, Chrysler. Killing Obamacare, ridding Obamacare, lowering the business taxes from 35% to 25%, tax cuts for everyone.
Big tax cuts. And those tax cuts end up causing big businesses to have the money it takes to give away big bonuses to their employees.
Go to magapill.com. There's a link there that shows you the top 100 companies that are giving out the tax credit bonuses to all their
companies.
The top 100.
So
the
there's
top
more.
100. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's more. Oh, and my favorite. Celebrating police and military. Stand for the flag. You stand for that flag.
He was calling everybody
America
out.
stands for that flag.
But when you get to the end of the speech, I think the speech overall collectively made the case. It made the case for respecting America by, the flag is the symbol of America. So by respecting the flag, you're indirectly respecting America.
Reminding those who have forgotten about what our founding fathers did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you know what? I kind of forgot about this, but remember, people were tearing down monuments all over the place. Now, they're talking about the monument tearing down was Confederate monuments, but what did they talk about? They talked about ripping down Jefferson and Washington and all these people in Washington, D.C., and obviously, he's got
These are monuments of the people, not the tyrannical politicians, the Democrats that want to destroy our great union.
I don't mean to pat myself on the back and break my arm doing so, but I feel like Trump read my tweets prior to making this speech, because he points out, he really made it a point to focus in on how we were founded on self-governance, and I just tweeted about that these past 2 days, and I almost feel like he was reading my tweets. Probably wasn't, but whatever.
He talked about what we talk about all the time. It's American exceptionalism. Not that we are exceptional. That is not the thing. We are not exceptional. We are the exception. We are the only country in all of human history that was founded on what? Self-governance.
So Juan Williams, somebody pointed out, I'm reading some of the comments in the comment section. Juan Williams said that Trump didn't give an olive branch to the Democrats.
I think he did. I think he gave a little bit of I think he did a little bit.
I mean, he said, look, we're giving you a big-time DACA. We're going to do infrastructure. They're mad that they don't get to have their name on it. You got Paul Ryan was speaking at the podium.
There's, dagnammit, what am I doing? Okay. There's phone numbers to call the Democrats, Republicans, Independents. The Republicans, call them right now, 202-748-8921. That is the Republican Party. Call them and express your opinion of how you felt about this. Let them know America first. Call the Democrats, too, 202.
Tell them they're full of crap.
748-8920. Call the Democrats and say, it's time. Now we're having a moment of silence.
For what purpose does the gentleman from California seek recognition?
I didn't waste it.
They're doing procedure. All right, whatever.
Okay.
So anyway, so Joe Kennedy's going to be giving a response here in a second. Did you want to show the Joe Kennedy response?
I almost don't even care.
All right, so Juan Williams, let's see. Somebody said he said his 4 pillars was a compromise with Dems. Part of it was, yeah.
Here, the four pillars. 1, pathway to citizenship.
That's absolutely a compromise.
1.8 million, not 800,000. 1.8 million.
The Republican Trump supporters, the right wingers or whatever you want to call them, conservatives, are angry about that. So obviously,
Ann Coulter losing her mind.
Yeah, Ann Coulter's losing her
mind. But
mind.
here's the thing: he said, in order to 1.8 million, in order to qualify, you have to meet very extreme requirements.
Right.
And it's a 12-year process. I mentioned this to somebody earlier this week about this 12-year process and about letting all the 1.8 million in. And I said, what about the economy going through the roof, newly granted citizenship in 12 years? I'll tell you what, I think they're going to embrace America, embrace the success.
Somebody said something about the memos. Yes, that will happen for sure. That was actually...
He did not want the memos released before this. You don't want to overshadow the State of the Union?
Patriotic Vegan says, who will speak for the Republicans? Well, Donald Trump did. So that won't be an issue. Let's see here. Everybody, let's see. All those... he invited there and talked about speech were wonderful. Yes, those were perfect invitees. I haven't heard anything about DACA people there.
Do you want to talk about tearjerkers?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you saw me. I got all choked up.
Right.
Started like a little water coming out my eyeballs.
Let's see. Love how he said, watch medication prices will go down. You just watch.
Yes.
You watch.
Whenever he has said that, it's happened.
Oh, Chris Wallace says that Trump spoke too long. He said everything that needed to be said, and I don't think he said anything that could have been cut out, to be honest with you.
He touched everything. It was an hour and a half.
Was it?
Yes.
Wow, dude, time flew. But you know, it flies because we got to tell you what we thought in between when the clapping was going on.
Well, not only that, but come on, y'all hang out with us for 3 hours every Sunday night. What's an hour and a half?
I know, an hour and a half is like, what? It's over already? No.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's go watch it again.
Right.
The whole MS-13, fixing immigration, amazing, amazing, amazing. America first, enforcement, ICE. What about ISIS? Nobody's talking
about that.
100% decimation of ISIS in Iraq, Syria. They're completely decimated.
Well, okay. This is what my opinion on ISIS. If you're not hearing things in the
as usual, C-SPAN is providing a live, no-frills stream of State of the Union. That was by Frank Luntz, tweeted out.
Okay. Yeah, I like the no frills. That's why we went with C-SPAN. Plus, it's not really stealing if it's C-SPAN. Don't we own that? It's like government funded programming or something. It's like free, whatever.
Okay.
So anyway,
there's
the ISIS thing. So the ISIS thing. So Ted Kennedy's about to. Should we bring it up? We'll blast him. We'll blast all over him. He's gonna lie. So Joe Kennedy's gonna come up.
Thank you.
He is going to be the heir to the throne.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is an absolute privilege to join you all tonight.
Is it?
We are here.
He looks like his grandpa.
In Fall River, Massachusetts, a proud American city.
He's like 12. He hasn't shaved yet.
No.
Looks like the set of Saturday Night Live.
An American city built by immigrants.
He looks nervous.
It should be.
From textiles to robots, this is a place that knows how to make great things.
What's in the corners of his mouth?
Okay, a city built by immigrants? No, we're not immigrants, folks.
No.
Sorry.
Or with us here this evening in the auto tech program at Diamond Regional Technical School. Carry on that rich legacy.
Is he going to do like 3 words and then everybody's going to clap?
Like many American hometowns, Fall River has faced its share of storms. But the people here are tough. They fight for each other. They pull for their city. It is a fitting place to gather as our nation reflects on the state of our union. This is a difficult task. Many have spent the last year anxious, angry, afraid.
Is he going to cry?
We all
He's already
feel
foaming
the
at the
fractured
mouth.
fault lines across our country. We hear the voices of Americans who are forgotten and feel forsaken.
He is drooling. Somebody say he's drooling.
We see an economy that makes stocks soar, investor portfolios bulge, and corporate profits climb, but fails to give workers their fair share of.
I'm sorry. Wrong.
That struggles to keep itself open. Russia, knee-deep in our democracy.
Oh, come on!
All-out war.
This guy's so full of crap.
They are knee-deep in our democracy. They're with Hillary Clinton.
You can talk
Justice
over the top of
Department,
him.
rolling back civil rights by the day.
When did that happen?
Hatred and supremacy.
Oh, no, he
Marching
didn't!
in our streets.
Supremacy marching in the streets.
Please, keep calling
Bullets.
us that. False
Carrying
accusations.
to our classrooms, concerts, and congregations.
Dude, your dad is
Targeting
rolling
our
in his
safest,
His grandpa. His grandpa's
sacred
rolling.
places.
Great.
Oh, his dad's cool with this.
And this nagging, sinking feeling, no matter your political beliefs, that this is not right.
What's not right?
This is not who we are.
False premise right
Hold
there.
on. Two different speeches. One, yes we can. This, oh, you're screwed. I mean,
Wow, it's
two different.
negativity. Negativity never wins. They're just obstructionists.
Folks, it would be easy to dismiss this past year as chaos. partisanship,
Making America
that's
great again.
politics. But it's far, far bigger than that.
This guy's overly dramatic.
This administration isn't just targeting the laws that protect us.
What laws?
They're targeting the very idea that we are all worthy of protection.
What is he talking about?
For them,
immigrants.
Dignity isn't something you're born with, but something you measure by your net worth, your celebrity, your headlines, your
projecting.
crowd size.
He's projecting.
Not to mention the gender of your spouse.
What is he? What?
The country of your birth. The color of your skin.
He is such a liar.
The God of your prayers.
He is such a liar.
Their record
He's just
is
like
a rebuke
making
to
this
our
up.
highest American ideal. The belief that we are all worthy, that we are all equal, that we all count in the eyes of our law and our leaders, our God and our government. That is the American promise.
This sounds like gobbledygook. Was that gobbledygook?
It was. And that's American promise of what? Promise of what?
I don't even know what the hell
Skin
he's talking
color,
about.
your state, your
Gender, marriage,
your spouse.
I don't know.
Folks, I'm not trying to be trite here. I'm seriously, I really didn't get that. I'm sorry.
It's not a good communicator.
But today, ladies and gentlemen, today, that promise is being broken.
Okay.
By an administration that callously appraises our worthiness and decides who makes the cut.
He's talking about
and who can be bargained away.
Merit-based immigration.
They're turning American life into a zero-sum game where for one to win, another must lose.
Now, he's just making this
where
up.
we can guarantee America's safety if we slash our safety net.
What?
Where we can extend health care in Mississippi if we gut it in Massachusetts.
No, that's not true.
We can cut taxes for corporations today if we raise them on families tomorrow. Where we can take care of sick kids if we sacrifice dreamers. We are bombarded with one false choice after another.
So he's making it up.
Or single moms. Rural communities or inner cities. The coast or the heartland. As if the mechanic in Pittsburgh, a teacher in Tulsa, and a daycare worker in Birmingham are bitter rivals. Rather than
he never said
neutral
that.
casualties.
He never made
of a
it.
system
This is literally
forcefully
a straw man. This is a
towards
straw man.
those at the top.
He is making he created the straw man and now he's trying to bash it down. That's what he's doing. This is a straw man.
This is not a response to Donald Trump's speech. This is a pre-written speech.
Well, we knew that.
Well, it's supposed to be a response to the administration, to the speech.
Right, but they have to guess what the speech is going to be. They didn't know that Donald Trump was going to knock it out of the park.
Well, they didn't know he was not racist. They thought he was racist.
Oh, they thought he was going to come out and say, "We need an immigration where only white people come."
White supremacy walking in the streets.
White man. We need to protect our precious bodily fluids. That's what he was expecting.
I tell you what, I don't know how much more I can take of this guy.
Let me hear a couple more lines. Sam's talking about how people are going to be talking about his plastic lips tomorrow.
We fight for both. Because the greatest, strongest, richest nation in the world should not have to leave anyone behind.
No, bring the whole world along.
Well, socialism is all about keeping everybody down.
We choose a better deal for all who
Better
call our country
deal?
home.
That's
We choose a living
communism
wage
speak.
And the paid leave and affordable child care your family needs to survive.
He already brought
Trump said he's done all
given
that, doubled it all.
He's going to give it.
Packs that are fair, roads and bridges that won't rust away.
Trump's doing that!
Education that you can afford. We choose a healthcare system that offers you mercy.
That's what Trump talked about.
Cancer or depression or addiction.
Trump already destroyed this
We choose an
argument.
economy strong enough to boast record stock prices and brave enough to admit that top CEOs making 300 times their average worker is not right.
Oh, class warfare. That's class warfare. Let me tell you something. If you get an extra couple $1,000s in pay per year, isn't that better than not? And he's trying to say that's not good enough because somebody makes 300 times more than you.
We choose Fall River. We choose the thousands of American communities whose roads aren't paved with power or privilege, but with an honest effort, with good faith, and the resolve to build something better for your kids.
Yeah, we're doing that.
That is our story.
Thanks to Trump, right? Thanks to Trump.
Thanks to Trump.
They
Thanks,
our
Trump.
founding fathers and mothers set sail for a new world, fleeing oppression.
Trump already talked about this.
It continued with every word of our independence. The audacity to declare that all men are created equal. An imperfect promise for a nation struggling to become a more perfect union.
We're struggling under
It grew with
Obama.
every suffragette step, every freedom rider's voice, and with every weary soul we welcome to our shores. And to all the dreamers out there watching tonight, let me be absolutely clear. Ustedes son parte de nuestra historia. Vamos a luchar.
Come here, you got a new story.
Vamos a luchar por ustedes y no nos vamos a alejar. You are part of our story. We will fight for you, and we will not walk away.
Hold on, dreamers. This ain't your country.
Well, and most of them are going to become citizens in 12 years.
Right, and
thanks
not only
to
that,
Trump.
but why are you putting all your eggs in one basket, Democrats? You're selling out your own party for people from another country.
We're selling out all American citizens.
America, we carry that story on our shoulders. You swarmed Washington last year to ensure that no parent has to worry if they can afford to save their child's life. You proudly marched together last weekend, thousands deep.
Oh, was that for the abortion?
Vegas,
The women's
and
march.
Nashville.
It wasn't to save babies in the womb.
Sat high atop your mom's shoulders and held a sign that read, "Build a wall, and my generation will tear it down."
Yeah, right.
So that wasn't the march to stop the murder of babies. The Million Woman March that happens every single year.
That nobody ever talks about.
Nobody reports on.
Right.
You say, "Me too."
Me too.
You steadfastly say, "Black Lives Matter."
Oh,
you wade through floodwaters,
dude,
battle hurricanes, brave wildfires and mudslides to save a stranger. You battle your own quiet battles every single day. You drag your weary bodies to that extra shift so that your families won't feel the sting of scarcity.
You don't represent those people.
You leave loved
Trump
ones
does.
at home to defend our country overseas, or patrol our neighborhoods at night.
This is empty. This is empty.
You serve. You rescue.
Your people stayed
You
in their
help.
seats when they were praising the
When
military.
Trump was praising the military and first responders,
More than
your
any
people
law or
sat down and not clapped.
Debate or disagreement. That is what drives us towards progress.
Progress.
Bullies
Buzzword.
may land
Communist.
a punch.
Bullies.
They may leave a mark.
Yeah. Bullies.
But they have never, not once, in the history of our United States, managed to match the strength and spirit of a people united in defense of their future. Politicians
united in defense of their future. What the hell's that mean?
I don't. It's gobbledygook. I'm telling you, that's kind of gobbledygook. I love to have somebody explain that one to me.
Politicians can be cheered for the promises they make. Our country will be judged by the promises we keep.
Politicians are cheered by the promises they make. We're cheered by the promises we keep.
Well, Donald Trump's keeping his promises, so it sounds like an endorsement.
That is the measure of our character. That is who we are.
Joe Kennedy endorses Trump.
Out of many, one.
These are all like
Ladies
bumper
and
sticker taglines.
Yeah.
He's like
Have faith.
he's repeating the famous lines of all movies, of
The
history.
state of our union is hopeful, resilient,
Mr.
and enduring.
Gorbachev, tear down
you.
that
God bless your families.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
And may God bless the United States of America.
wall. Oh, that
Thank
was
you.
so sad. I'm glad we got to play the whole thing. That was so sad.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
Somebody called him Mommy's boy. He's like a soy boy or something.
What is on his lip? I mean, come on. Okay, I'm not gonna make fun of anybody's features. I mean, Trump does his
that like
Trump does his
foaming or
little
drooling?
thing where Trump will do this, just look up, and he's got his shoulders a little I mean, and then he does his little swagger, and he does this one thing where he goes,
and he moves his head kind of funny too, where he goes like,
but that's cool. He don't have that juice on his lips.
Well, I mean, I guess, he might have some sort of a saliva gland issue.
Or herpes.
Oh, jeez. He must have been kissing Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah. What he just said, you know what, folks? Trump has already done it. Trump has said it. Trump has laid it out. Trump knocked. It's like if check this out. It's like if you're an amateur guitar player, and somebody says, "Hey, man, we're having this little get together, kind of a little concert, little local thing.
Right.
I know you play the guitar. I'd like for you to come up and play for some friends. And cool." It'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, cool. I'll be there." And then you arrive, you get there, and he's like, "Hey, man, you're next on. My buddy's up there right now. He's getting ready to light it up.
Yeah.
But Kerry, you're next."
Okay.
Okay, so we'll just sit here and we'll watch Jimmy Page.
All right. Jimmy Page. All right.
Yeah, you're up after Jimmy Page.
Well, not only that, but he's playing. You're told to play the same songs he played.
Yes. You're gonna play Jimmy Page. Jimmy. No,
it's not gonna work. It's like, because isn't that right? Is that a good analogy? Like some of the things, besides the straw men and the outright lies and just making stuff up out of thin air. I mean, he was making a lot of the arguments for Trump's success.
Hey, man, you're up to bat next, okay? Oh, well, who's batting right now? Babe Ruth.
Oh, boy.
Come on! Come on, man!
Well, I think they were hoping... Okay, good analogy here. Barack Obama, a very young Barack Obama, who I think he was either just brand new senator, maybe, got to do the speech at the Democrat National Convention or something like that in 2004. And it was such a good speech, and it was so well delivered that speech alone pretty much catapulted him into the presidency in 2008.
They saw he could get there. They just had to hide a lot of stuff, like the Louis Farrakhan
they
stuff,
did all that,
the communist stuff, the Frank Marshall Davis stuff.
But I remember waking up and hearing that because I fell asleep, and I was woken by the booming applause, and then I heard him for the first time in that speech, and I said, "This guy's kind of amazing." He was he did a very, very good job on that speech. And a lot of other people who are Democrats not only thought it was amazing, but thought, well, this guy needs to be our next president. And so it worked. I think that they were trying to do that playbook. They were playing that playbook, that play with Joe Kennedy. He's got the name. He kind of looks like his grandfather. And
he got juice all over his lips.
Well, they should have put a little more powder on him, a little bit more makeup.
I think he did like a Vaseline thing or like a...
It was coming straight
It was straight down.
I don't know what that was.
It's distracting.
Hey, if I got a booger or something on my face sometime, please leave a comment in the message and tell me to, get off screen real quick and wipe that off or something, because that was unacceptable.
And here's the thing, folks. What he just said, most of it, I don't know. Okay, you tell me. We just listened to it. Sum it up.
Trump is a racist?
No, I support Trump. I mean,
I don't know.
He complained about the economy. We need a better economy. Trump, we got one. He complained about immigration. Trump fixed that.
Cernovich started a scope labeled "Why is he drooling?" Yeah, we noticed that. I did. Did you notice it right away? I was just like, what is on this guy's mouth?
I was going to let it go, but the glistening was just so much. It's so distracting. And here's the whole point, though. What the takeaway from Kennedy, Joe, little boy Joe, was that I think Trump's got this.
Yeah. In a way, it kind of makes it look. Didn't he come out all nervous? He was like hyperventilating a little bit, and his voice is kind of high, not because it's high naturally, but because he was so nervous. His vocal cords like clenched up, and so his voice was a little higher.
The fake emotions.
Oh,
you know what I loved about Trump? They're almost. It's not emotional with him. It's like he's on a mission.
Right. It's kind of like...
you see the focus in his eyes.
It's an assuredness.
Yes.
It's like...
You can feel strong, and you can feel strong in yourself knowing he's got this, man.
It's like when Milo calls him daddy.
Yes.
You kind of like feel it when he's telling you, we are going to solve these problems. here's my ideas. We get together, and we're all on the same page, and we will solve these really hard problems. Even like somebody like a Kim Jong-un, who, if you read like tweets and if you watch some of the YouTube videos I watch, people are legitimately scared to death that this guy could launch a nuke and kill somebody.
Right.
Not even them. They're just scared to death.
That guy in Hawaii, yeah, he was scared too. By the way, today he was fired. The guy who did the launch code.
Finally.
Launch code. They finally fired him.
So, and he knew it was supposed to be a drill, but he obviously did that wrong. So anyway.
He said he felt like it was real. Like it could possibly happen.
So he put out a real alert knowing it wasn't real.
Well, he said it could be. It could be.
Boy, what an idiot.
Democrat. I don't know.
Sounds like he took the fall for some higher up. I think it was a conspiracy. Probably. But anyway, no, the point is that Trump is like, I am not about to be intimidated by this little guy. And so he stands up to him and he's like that, you're getting bullied by somebody at the playground when you're like 6 years old, by somebody that's like 9, and you're like, this kid's gonna legitimately kill me.
Right.
And then daddy walks up and's like, I got this. Hey, kiddo, and like grabs him by the collar and says, get out of here, And
right.
That's kind of like how you would feel the way Trump handles the Kim Jong-un situation. It's like, I am not about to be intimidated.
And this
by
thing about
trying to be a bully.
About the racism, Trump talking about unity, Trump talking about love the country. The president mixed tough talks. That was CNN. What did CNN say? CNN just put out a notification. Here's CNN breaking news. An open hand and a clenched fist.
What the hell?
The president mixes tough talk and calls for unity in his first State of the Union.
He did.
Here's full coverage of his speech and reaction coming out now. Y'all late, CNN. We got this.
Yeah, we got this. He did call for unity. He said he didn't hear the word exercise. I don't know who that would. I'm sorry. The real Amy Gray. I don't know what you're referring to. That was so hilarious. I had to go to the bathroom. Heather Lynn writes in.
Drop it like it's hot.
Oh, man. Wow. Dems need problems to continue. They leverage fear and hate and division. I 100% agree with that. That's Fritz 8R.
Hey, Fritz 8R, let me tell you something. They've got no Their message was anger, hate, divisiveness. You didn't build that. We got it. Trust in us, the government. We got the government. Trump was the opposite. Trump was like, this is the people's house.
Somebody said that Bernie is spewing bile. I'm assuming right now. He's probably on the TV right now spewing bile. Awesome. These people are going to dig their own grave, I guess. They're just going to start saying a bunch of stuff that, it was a great speech.
It was great. I'm very, very excited and happy about it. Took notes through it. I'll talk about it again on my scope again tomorrow. There's nothing more than to just pile on these Democrats. They've got nothing.
It may be juvenile, but I got to agree with Sam right now. Sam's like, it's going to be all about the lips, the drool. It might be juvenile, but it works. It's worked for the Democrats for so long.
Okay, how about this?
What about it?
Oh,
who did that?
Trump during the debates.
That's right.
And they tried to make it all about hashtag sniffles. Wasn't that trending or
something? Yeah, because he would take a deep breath in, right in the middle of a sentence.
And he apparently breathes deeply through his nostrils.
Clearly, he's worked on that because it seemed like he did it like 2 times in a row. And apparently, I forgot about it until you brought that up. But that's true. Drooling showed on all channels. Yes. Yes. I think drool or drooling is probably going to be trending on Twitter until Jack gets involved and he suppresses the hashtags. Trump breathes like that. Well, he's worked on it because...
Did a great job in this speech.
Well, it seems like it's been a lot of speeches since I've heard it. In fact, I haven't really heard it since the second debate or something like that. So.
And I've noticed, like in his speech in Davos, Switzerland, I noticed they're angling the microphone a little bit differently and putting it in an appropriate place for him. It's all about staging.
Still not as bad as the fly landing on Hillary's face during the debate. Did that really happen?
Multiple times.
Come on. I thought that was like Photoshop
during the debate and multiple times during speeches she had.
Oh, man. She's like a pile of crap.
Yeah. Well, there's something in the Bible about that.
Vesey said she feels a drool meme coming on.
Vesey, bring it on, Vesey. Bring it on.
Vesey's getting very talented at the memes, so that's good. Dana Perino was singing praises about Kennedy, Joe Kennedy III.
Dana Perino?
Yeah, I don't know why.
She was worked for the Bush White House.
Let me break it down to you this way. The content of his speech was bad. It really was.
The delivery was awful because it was fake and induced.
The delivery was bad. He doesn't have a very good sounding voice. His performance just seemed a little fake. And then on top of all of that, imagery matters, and he's foaming at the mouth and drooling and just whatever.
Nixon lost his first. Nixon lost the run against Kennedy because Nixon refused to put makeup on, and it was a televised debate. And everybody said Nixon looked sickly, but he won the debate, arguably, but he looked sickly.
And he was sweating.
Yeah, but he didn't have any makeup. So optics. Why do we do the show like this? Why do we video the show? Optics are everything.
Dana Perino has a crush on Joe Kennedy III.
I think so.
Is what Freedom Forever, AR, said. That's interesting.
Nauseating content. I agree. It's just nothing but the same regurgitated hate, anger, divisiveness.
Oh, Dana Perino's somebody said she's a Dem, and then somebody said she's a Rhino. I'll go with the Rhino. It makes sense to me.
She's definitely a Bush love. She loves the Bush family.
And we know from history that everybody loves the Kennedys, right? Even if it kills you. Right, Ted Kennedy? Yeah,
Kennedy
exactly.
Jr. trying to run against Hillary for Senate. That was a mistake, buddy.
Well, he didn't do that to him. He didn't kill somebody. He just ended up dying because of Hillary. But Ted Kennedy killed a girlfriend that he was.
Oh, he killed a woman. Yeah,
right. So Kennedy won a percentage because of his looks. Oh, he must be talking about JFK over Nixon back in '60.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm sure. No, JFK against just looked stunning. They loved the way his entire the optics of it all.
Right. He has not found his job element yet, referring to Kennedy.
Right. No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Kennedy is indicative of Democrats totally a mess and uncomfortably to watch.
Yeah, he needs some work. I heard he's only 37 years old, and he looked like he was about
27. Oh, okay. I was giving him benefit of the doubt.
Well, he doesn't even look like he needs to shave.
No, not yet.
Elite globalists killed JFK. Plausible. Yes. Let's see. Elite globalists. Let's see. And hate Trump. Yes, that's true. Trump needs to. Well, he eats fast food because they can't poison his food. Is what the rumors are. I'm ready for Hillary to go away forever.
I didn't know she was still alive.
That was Nurse Liz. Well, she's not alive, but when it's Weekend at Bernie's, you can at least fake it.
Right.
Until you start really smelling up the joint.
Oh, it gets wretched.
37, and his lips killed his career. I don't know if it was his lips, but it was more of his saliva.
Yeah.
Somebody should have grabbed him before going out there. There's going to be a lot of circling the wagons on Droolgate. So
big time.
Saliva Gate. Oh my gosh.
All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up because I'm losing juice over here on the iPad. I'm going to end up with what has to be the greatest video for Donald Trump, an endorsement of Trump from a liberal. Not intended, but it happened. Folks, the liberal Kennedy today, endorsement for Trump. Once again, Trump is trolling them all. They can't help it. They're falling victim to liberalism, and they squirming a fish out of water. They don't know where to go. Listen to Smyth Radio every Sunday evening, 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Follow me at Brian P. Smith, right there under my name right there. And then Carrie right here at Smyth Radio, SMYTH Radio on Twitter. Follow us. Put the notifications on. We scope just about every other day, every day. Catch the scopes. And thank you so much for everything that you guys have done for the Patriots, our Patreons that are part of Smyth Radio. If you want to be a part of Smyth Radio to help make America great again, help us help Donald Trump, go to smithradio.com, crush the Patreon button. And you can check out all the great stuff we got on the website. If you want to listen to the audio only of Smyth Radio, go to smithradio.info or iHeartRadio.smithradio.com. And with much less ado, good night, y'all.
Good night.
Donald Trump came to the Detroit Economic Club and stood there in front of the Ford Motor executives and said, if you close these factories as you're planning to do in Detroit and build them in Mexico, I'm going to put a 35% tariff on those cars when you send them back, and nobody's going to buy them. It was an amazing thing to see. No politician, Republican or Democrat, had ever said anything like that to these executives. And it was music to the ears of people in Michigan and Ohio and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, the Brexit states. You live here in Ohio, you know what I'm talking about. Whether Trump means it or not is kind of irrelevant because he's saying the things to people who are hurting. And it's why every beaten down, nameless, forgotten working stiff who used to be part of what was called the middle class loves Trump. He is the human Molotov cocktail that they've been waiting for. The human hand grenade that they can legally throw into the system that stole their lives from them. And on November 8th, Election Day, although they lost their jobs, although they've been foreclosed on by the bank, next came the divorce, and now the wife and kids are gone. The car's been repoed. They haven't had a real vacation in years. They're stuck with the shitty Obamacare bronze plan where you can't even get a pink Percocet. They've essentially lost everything they had, except one thing. The one thing that doesn't cost them a cent and is guaranteed to them by the American Constitution, the right to vote. They might be penniless, they might be homeless, they might be fucked up, it doesn't matter, because it's equalized on that day. A millionaire has the same number of votes as the person without a job, one. And there's more of the former middle class than there are in the millionaire class. So on November 8th, the dispossessed will walk into the voting booth, be handed a ballot, close the curtain, and take that lever, or felt pen or touchscreen, and put a big X in the box by the name of the man who has threatened to upend and overturn the very system that has ruined their lives. Donald J. Trump. They see that the elites who ruined their lives hate Trump. Corporate America hates Trump. Wall Street hates Trump. The career politicians hate Trump. The media hates Trump after they loved him and created him. And now hate him. Thank you, media. The enemy of my enemy is who I'm voting for on November 8th. Yes, on November 8th, you, Joe Blow, Steve Blow, Bob Blow, Billy Bob Blow, all the blows, get to go and blow up the whole goddamn system because it's your right. Trump's election is going to be the biggest feud ever recorded in human history. And it will feel good.